All right. So you're all welcome to our very first inaugural The Majesty of Calmness call. This year, we've called this Retreat, Rejuvenate, and Reset. OMG. I love it. Somebody already read the book, said the book is breathtaking and so good. That was exactly literally how I felt. And I said, every woman I know, and man for that matter, needs to read this book. That was literally how I got into the study of this book, and I will be telling you more. But first of all, what I want to hear from you is, what does calmness mean to you? And you can put it in the chat. I can put it in. What does calmness, when you saw, the majesty of calmness, what did it mean to you? What was the picture that you saw? If you can think of words that came to your mind, go ahead and put it in the chat. If you'd like to speak up, I would even appreciate it some more. What did that call up in your mind? What image? And also an example of a calm person you know in your own life, in your purview. Go ahead and share. Who's my first person to come on?
Hi, Lily Border, Brady Brother. I can speak.
Absolutely.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shaka. I think what hit me was that the turbulence of the waves and the storm only get the first 200 to 300 meters, but deep down in the sea is calm. That one just hit me because right after that, I nearly yelled at somebody, but then I just remember that those people that really have a deep foundation at their base, they remain unruffled. And so your response is a testament to the depth of what you have grabbed and how deep your foundations run.
Even I can hear the weight of the conviction in your voice.
Oh my God. I've had a day just with chapter 1.
I can hear the depth of conviction in your voice. I love that. Thank you for sharing. Who else wants to share before I take the ones in the chat? Who else would like to share?
Okay, so for me, it was about the analogy.
Please, could you introduce yourself? Let's hear your name.
My sincere apologies, please. My name is Yewande Foshe.
Hello.
And Amabi, thank you for that book, because I was wondering, where did you get this from? I had to go to Google, and I found out that the book is not even a book that was written in this century, right? And I'm like, wow. Okay, so for me, it's about the analogy where, the Aaron would wait and not run when the eagle is coming, and that we would just stop in his stride and, so concentrated. And the fact that the book said the eagle will be impaled or run through I'm like, wow. He said the boasted king of birds was impaled and run through by its, is it its beak or something? And I was like, wow, that kind of confidence, that kind of calm, knowing that nothing is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. That really, it struck me. It struck me. Thank you so much, Ma. Thank you.
That one struck me too. When I first read it, I was like, wait, everyone, hold up. What you say, that the Lord will fight my battles and deal with people on my behalf. You're going to be learning and hearing more. Okay, let's take one last one before we move forward. And even if you haven't read, because I know you're hearing from people who've read, and don't worry, by the time you finish here, you will get it. Even if you haven't read, please go ahead and just express. One more person. Can people speak up? I just want you to know. Anyone else? Okay, I'll read from the chat. Someone said it's a state of being unperturbed. It's like, like a feather fell on you. Might you notice? I don't know, maybe except you're a princess, like Princess and the Peas level. Maybe you would notice, but usually you don't notice. Usually you wouldn't even notice. Why? Because it is too light to actually call your skin to attention, to be like, something fell on you. Do you understand? It's too light. So state of being unperturbed. Thank you for sharing that. Assurance that everything will be okay. Please, if you saved your name as iPhone, can you try and update it? Because I'd like to be calling your name. This is about to be a community, and I would love for you to identify yourself. Okay, assurance that everything will be okay. Do you know this is the beginning, the middle, and the end of our demeanor and the state of our being? This right here is it. Because a lot of times, the reason people are perturbed is because they don't know the end of the story. They don't know the middle. They don't know who has them. They don't really fully know who they are. They don't really know how things will turn out. So it causes some level of bother, basically. Being at peace, being centered. Oh God, I'd like to hear more. What does being centered mean? And if you could speak up, I would love it. I love putting Ogo on the spot. All of you meet Ogo Nkedi, beautiful author and writer. I don't even know what I just said. I said it twice, but basically that's how good she is at writing.
Thank you.
Ogo, so tell me, what does being centered mean to you?
So the image that came to my mind as you asked that question was a ship is at anchor. It's just having that knowledge that, look, there's something holding me together. I'm not going to fall apart. There's something holding me together. So that's what being centered means to me. It just means that there's something at my core that's holding me together.
There is something holding me together. Like there's something invisible. I'm not just anyhow. I can't just be flapping in the wind. There is something holding. Good. All right, calmness means that my life can reflect seamless results from a place of peace. That means I don't have to rush through life even when the storm is everywhere. There's a peace I have every time I get on an airplane. It's actually uncanny because nobody should be that peaceful in a little metal tube up in the air where oxygen is lacking and where, there are freezing temperatures. But there's a calm. Why? Because already we're in a miracle. So whoever created that miracle, something must be working in their favor. And there's a God up in the skies. I'm going to arrive where I'm going. I don't have to rush through it. There might be storms, we might be bouncing in the air, but I know the end of the story. The end of the story is a gist. Oh my gosh, you should have seen the turbulence. It was shaking and everything. It's a story. So I tell the story ahead of time because we're going to what? We're going to land. All right. It's Jesus sleeping in the midst of the storm and literally being woken up by the apostles. And he just spoke to the storm, not fretting like they did. And do you remember, please, somebody put in the chat what Jesus actually said to them. The temerity, though. Imagine you and your friends are going through stuff and you're like, oh, look what's happening. And your friend is like, why are you bothered? What would you say to that friend? I don't like the way you always act. You always act like you got it all together. I mean, this is, people are going through stuff. You have to be empathetic. You have to be understanding. Jesus wasn't all that. He was like, why are you waking me up? It's like, dude. Basically, what they told him is, dude, are you blind? That's what they said. They were like, dude, come on now. You should know better. Do we wake you up normally? Can't you see what we're about to say? And all these things. That's what they started saying. But that was the definition of calmness. So today, I want to take you through this journey because let me tell you what I found out. First of all, let me tell you how I found the book. And this right here is the book. The good thing about this book is that it's over 100 years old. So because of that, the patent on it is out. So you can download the copy anywhere online. This is what happens. Don't worry, when your book is 100 years old and you're not here anymore, you will then have it. You will then have you can have access to this. Anu, if you would help me reach out to my BFF, Tombra, she's calling me for some reason. Okay. All right. So I saw this book and I was writing something. I was speaking to a group of ladies and I was trying to capture for me what I feel is the most important thing. The most important thing. As a human being, your most important physiological duty at any given time is what? What is the most important thing that your body should be doing at any given time? It's call and response today. What's the most important thing your body should be doing? That if it stops, you die. What's the most important thing? Breathing. Oh my gosh, Ajane. It's breathing. It's breathing. Before you say take your vitamins, before you say exercise, before you say eat, before you say any other thing, the first thing is breathe. And I found out that a lot of times we as coaches, as ministers, as big sisters, mentors, we're trying to get people to go to the next when they haven't learned the most basic thing, which is breathing. They haven't learned to breathe. People haven't learned to breathe. We want to do the next 20 things, but the most important thing is the breath. And it's amazing that God would describe himself as the breath. Can you not say anything else? You describe yourself as the breath. What is that? But it is the life, the most basic life-giving duty or task. If the body can't do this task, the body shuts down. It doesn't matter how wonderfully functioning it is. So I said this December, I want to lead people on a journey where they learn again how to breathe, where your soul knows what it means to breathe, where your heart is able to breathe and be okay before we talk about the next thing, before we talk about the visions, before we talk about the missions, before we talk about the accessories, before we talk about the virtues. I love one part in the Bible where it says, add to your this, that, add to your that, this, add to your this, that. But the very first thing is salvation, taking in the breath of God. So this class is for you to learn to breathe, for you to learn to master yourself, for you to learn to be fully, truly you, for you to learn to be regardless of circumstances. When I was writing my copy for the landing page, it was a heartfelt letter. When I want to talk to people, like, I just go straight to the heart because I want you to see what it is I was thinking of you. And let me just read this to you. I wrote here, I said, you've always been able to sense what is good for you. You are not that confused person that people make you out to be. You're not that person just trying to make it work, struggling, rushing through life. No, you know, your soul knows what is good for you. The issue is the mixed messaging and you doubting the veracity of your soul's voice, you giving it up for another instead of you taking the truth of that soul that is God breathed. I said, the visions you've seen and the goals you've set for yourself, you've given it to your all. And most of the times you've enjoyed a measure of success. Yet in the midst of this, you pause and you think, could this be all? You know, there's something that's always saying, there's more outside. Every time I think about Jesus, I don't think you all realize just how ordinary his life was. Yeah, he raised a couple of dead people. Elijah did that too. A lot of people did a lot of miraculous stuff before Jesus came. No, but seriously, Ajane, tell me, what did he do that the others didn't do? People had been raised from the dead before he came on the scene. He was quite a normal person. In fact, it was so normal that the disciples always used to wonder, like, why are you always running away though? Like, why can't you just keep going? I mean, Elijah, people like that, they would run after chariots and horses, and Jesus would be like, I have to retreat. I have to take some time away. I have to go back. I'm coming back. It was quite ordinary. But that man knew that within him contained was the salvation of the world. He was okay, happy with that. He wasn't looking around and being like, oh, did I do more? I mean, what did it look like? Peter, tell me. Like when Lazarus came out, were people like freaking out? No, he was just content in who he was. He wasn't moved. So you've enjoyed this measure of success this year. But even you are looking at it. I mean, you wrote a book. So did 50 other people. In fact, people made the New York Times bestseller list. You didn't even make Amazon. So you're beginning to question. You're beginning to wonder, could this be all? In fact, I even plan to have a child. I plan to get married. Is this it? I even started the company, but where I thought I would be, like when I saw the dream, this is where it was. I know God is trying to tell me something. So now you're even trying to spiritualize it because you're not getting it. You pause and think, could this be all? Because though everything is telling you how far you've come, your mind has traveled farther than your body ever could. Who has ever experienced that? When your spirit has possessed territories that your physical foot hasn't yet stepped on. Have you ever lived that incongruence You can see beyond where you are. You can almost touch it. Nobody else can see it. It's not manifest in your life yet. I used to tell people, I never really knew I was fat. It was when I tried the clothes, I would be like, why don't they fit? Because inside my mind, I saw myself as skinny. I did. I saw myself as really slim. You have this vision in your heart. You even think you're doing it. But you look on the outside and you're like, is this it? Your spirit has gone farther. Your mind has gone farther than your physical feet ever have. This is the incongruence of the visionary woman, of anybody who is worth anything on earth, of anybody who has any dream, who will make a difference in this world. That is the one incongruence that you should expect. There is no other way to stay in this gap between the future self you see, the present self that you are, without calmness. You would lose your mind. You would absolutely lose your mind, because you'll be like, I don't get it. Like, I see myself flying first class right now. What am I doing in economy? Like, I even barely got in. In fact, I'm stuffing my stuff. I'm wearing 3 outfits because they said I couldn't even take my bag in. I can't even pay for an extra luggage. I mean, that is the reason for you to lose your majestic calmness. You are seeing a future, you are not yet there. Your heart sees the potential of relationships that have yet to be rid of issues, and in some cases, toxicity. I love this man. Why is this marriage chaotic? I even know he loves me too. I love this company. We just have issues. You see all these incongruences, and your heart can't handle it. So you become perturbed. I wrote here, I said, then the peace that garrisons your heart starts to wane. Peace is the price sometimes we pay for questioning. And this is why when you question, you have to be able to step out of yourself and look. One of my coaches, Paul Martinelli, he calls it observational thinking. When you're able to look at your life almost like a god, and you're able to put things in its perspectives. And you'll learn that in this book. You'll learn that in the Majesty of Calmness. How do I look at my life? Almost like I'm not in that boat. Jesus was asking questions like, if that boat sank, he wouldn't be on that same water. That's how he was asking the disciple questions. He had removed himself out of the situation. And he still had the audacity to be asking questions. Why are you waking me up? Dude, you're blind. Dude, you don't like yourself. Dude, you're about to die. That's what was happening. So your peace, the peace that is supposed to garrison your heart starts to wane. Should I even be this fulfilled when I haven't completed the goals I started the year with? If you've asked yourself that question, put it in the chat. Like, you woke up this morning happy, even smiling, and at the point you told yourself, will you be quiet? Stop singing. You haven't done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You have no right. In fact, you automatically become the principal of your life, and you're like, kneel down, put your hands up. You're grounded. No, you're not going for that Christmas carol service. You sit your butt down and complete that work, because you're like, you can't be this happy. Why should you be calm? Your life is not working right now. Don't be acting like you're a blessing put there. I say, absolutely no right to be acting like everything is okay. How dare you be calm? You should be frazzled. You should be bothered. OMG. Why should I be happy when my relationships are going through some turbulence? A lot of times as wives, this is why we're trying to apologize way ahead of even the fight, that conflict that could take us a level farther. We're trying to just any form of conflict, any form of confrontation, any form of turbulence, we will contort ourselves into helices just so that we don't face it. Why? It will disturb our calm. Our calm is thin, it's very thin. It's not majestic. It cannot handle challenge. Jesus didn't say, no, see, you can't be billowing. You're affecting my calmness. No, sea can be billowing. The reason he told the sea to calm down wasn't because of himself. It was because of who? Did you ever think about that? Did you ever think about that? He would have slept right in that boat in the storm. The only reason he took action was because some other people were about to lose their minds. Okay. Have I really grown spiritually, intellectually, financially? Please put it in the chat. Any word that you can think of. Have I really, really grown this year the way I said I would? Have I really grown this way and that way? Then cue the hyperventilation. You can't breathe. You're thinking about, I said I would, I said I would, I want to, why am I not? Tell me what is wrong with me. You're calling your coaches, you're calling Lady Bodan, you're calling Lady Ajane, you're calling Bisola, you're like, I don't know, why is my own like this? Last year, this is what happened. Is this a pattern in my life? Do we need to break something? In an instant, you lose your peace. Then the quick fixes start to rain. How many of you say, this goal, December 31st will meet me accomplishing it? How many of you have said you must complete this thing by December 31st? I see some hands up. It's 3 months left. I know how I am. Sometimes I need pressure to act. So December 31st must not meet me here. Then somebody is like, do you want to accomplish your goals before the end of the year? Come, I will show you a system that will help you. How many of you are buying those courses now? There's nothing impossible with God. When you enter 2025, you would have lost the 20 pounds. No one tells you whether January 31st will meet you the same way that you were in December 2nd. So this month that you're supposed to retreat, you start giving yourself what? Pressure. There was something that Paul said to one of the churches in Galatians. He said, you observe dates and times. He said, I'm afraid of you. What is it about an arbitrary date? We wake up January 1st, the sun doesn't shine any brighter. I don't know, maybe you're part of the world. You come out and you see Happy New Year on the skies. Do you see that? Why? Because your calmness is compromised. There's something that can shake your metal if it doesn't work. Maybe I should race as fast as possible so that I can complete this, regardless of whatever is going on in my mind, in my life. Maybe I should quickly apologize to this person so that I can go for their party. Maybe I should compromise myself as this, even though I know that this will not really work for me. Maybe I should take that loan so I can buy Christmas toys because the kids have said this is what they want. Growing up, I said I'll be the best mother I could ever be. Your calmness is compromised. Who I am if I cannot keep my word? Who am I? Maybe I should ignore my values and ignore these boundary violations so that everyone can be at peace and Christmas can be without drama. So we are hurrying, we are pressured. Everything is from external. Everything that reaches us from external. We're not that person that is radiating into the environment and influencing. We're the ones being influenced upon. What did I say? It's time to retreat. It's time to take some time out to retreat. Even the culture of retreat has become pressure. The church says they are retreating on the weekend of the 14th. Your work party is that weekend. Your husband already booked this trip to Mexico, but I really want to retreat. Oh my gosh, how do I do it? The children are doing their Christmas rehearsals by this time. Pressure. Do you realize now that you cannot wait for a physical location to retreat? First of all, it's too late. Second of all, it's too short. And the intermittence between the retreats is not enough for you. There's this great thing that some Maxwell Maltz wrote in Psycho-Cybernetics. They asked this president, who was a wartime president, said, how are you able to cope? Because everything is chaotic, but every time we see you, you're looking fresh, you're drinking tea, just being all right. And he said, I have a foxhole in my mind. You know that place in the Bible where Jesus said, foxes have holes. It is a real thing. They are not out hunting the whole time. They have holes where they go to. He said, I have a foxhole in my mind. Anytime the pressure gets too much, I can do a drop-in and go to that place where I am not only able to be alone, I'm able to see clearly. Why are we retreating this December? is so that you can see. It's so that you can hear your own voice finally, that voice that is infused with divinity, so that you can hear it and you can honor it before any other person's voice. If you're a person here, you honor any other man's voice higher than you do your voice, chances are you can easily get hurt, and chances are you can easily get misled, because the person is living their own life. They're supposed to add to what you know about you. You are the one with the onus to become the master of yourself. I love it. Rejuvenate. We're here so that you can rejuvenate, so that you can replenish and refuel. You're not even Tesla cars have to be refreshed. Even the sun goes to sleep at night. Yes, I know there's a whole geography thing about it. The sun never actually goes to sleep, but it's a good analogy. The earth is always rotating, revolving time, seasons by this action of cycles. What is your one where you actually take that time out and replenish? I will never forget reading about Elijah. You read Elijah's story and you start to wonder, like, these people in this Bible, they're actually normal. They're very ordinary. You would be remiss to think that they had what you don't have. He finished fighting with the prophets of Baal, doing that huge show. The very next chapter, what happens? The very next chapter, he's afraid for his life. Why? Because one woman said, oh, I'm going to deal with you for embarrassing my prophets. And he became terrified. And he went into hiding, shaken, depressed. What did the angel say? Who remembers what the angel said when they saw Elijah? What did the angel say? After he complained in that wilderness, like, what is this? Do you want to kill me? Why did you bring me here? In fact, this is so wrong, God. Please, somebody tell me what the angel said. I know you are Bible people here, so just talk back to me. Or what did the angel do? Angel brought food for Elijah. This is beyond my notes, so don't think I have it somewhere. Angel brought food for Elijah. Angel said, Elijah, this is bread. Do what? No, somebody needs to break that down for me. I mean, think about it. Your friend is hesitating on her dreams, her visions, and her goals. What would you typically tell her? You've noticed that day 1, day 2, day 3, she said she would do this thing over 3 days. She said, be my accountability partner, and she hasn't submitted her deliverables in 3 days. What would you tell that person, typically? Just unmute and speak, my people. I would just be looking at you like this. I'm not talking anymore. Okay, somebody said, I'll tell her to get serious with her life. Look, I don't like this thing you're doing. You are supposed to be a grown woman. I shouldn't be telling you. You have the strength. Keep moving. What's this? Abimbola, say the truth. Abimbola says she will say, take some time out. Your friend already took time out 2 weeks before she set these goals. And she's told you to be the accountability partner. Temitope is like, trace the root cause. There is something that is making you not accomplish your goals. What is that limiting belief? The angel didn't do any of these things. Angel said, Elijah, guess what? You are what? You are tired. Do you know what tiredness can make you do? Have you seen those commercials that I think it's Snickers or something? How you are very angry when you're hungry? All Elijah was tired. Wow. So tiredness can make somebody afraid, make somebody unproductive, make somebody lose focus, clarity, make somebody stop hearing the voice of God. God couldn't speak to Elijah. Elijah had, number 1, rested. Please, can somebody tell me what happened after he ate the first bread? It's in 1 Samuel chapter 18 or something. And if you get the exact chapter or verse, put it in the chat. After he ate that first time, what happened? Somebody just open it. We're in class. Class means you bring all your textbook, you bring your Bible, you bring everything. So who's ready to tell me? No, he didn't have strength, Temitope. He didn't have strength. After the very first time he said, eat, and he gave Elijah bread, what happened? Yes, Sally is telling us he went back to sleep again. When he woke up, he started talking gibberish again. He still didn't have his wits about him. He still didn't have his courage. He still didn't hone his power because his power never left. And the angel had to tell him, oh God, you didn't get here in one day. He said, eat. That's when he gave him counsel. Because your journey is what? Your journey is what? Your journey is far. Do you really believe in the purpose that God has called you on this earth for? Your journey is far. Did somebody want to read it? Is that Abby? Abby, are you talking to us? Okay. Your journey is far. Elijah, you have to eat. Abby, don't be sorry. It's okay. I love hearing your voice. You have to eat. And then the second time, the angel also gave him water. And I like to think that that water was like refreshing. Sometimes the Bible will talk about the water of the word. It's time to put in those I am. Sometimes you hear about affirmations and it seems like it's a good to do. No, it's rejuvenation for your soul. It's a replenishing of the depletions. Think of all the time situations and storms came and you had to speak back to the storm. It's almost like you were getting depleted. It's time to rejuvenate, to put back again within yourself that mark of identity. It's time to do that. Elijah simply couldn't go out and face the world without resting, sleeping, eating, drinking. That's what you're here to do. The goals can wait. You're going to be doing this for the whole first quarter anyways. We can set goals in one day. So why spend the whole December torturing yourself about it? This is why I wanted to do this study. I know why I'm taking the time to lay this basis so that you don't think this is another good to do class. This is why I made it complimentary, because it's my gift to you. Elijah didn't even know enough to pray that God send an angel to feed me. He didn't think that was what he needed. When he was talking about it, he wasn't speaking about needing rest or needing strength. He was speaking about God, you should make me so powerful and you shouldn't make people hate me. Why is Jezebel against me? Oh my gosh, this is what you do to your prophets. People now laugh at us and all these things. He didn't even know what he needed was rest. You don't know right now that what you need is more rest than planning. It's more rest than goals. It's more rest than strategy. Go back again, count all the miracles that Jesus did, then count all the times that the Bible says he went away and see how much they match. It is a study that a lot of times we don't want to go into. That is what rejuvenation is. And in reset, it got to a point after he had eaten, he had drank, he had slept. He didn't sleep one day because I know what's happening. Some of you are like, oh my gosh, that week of Christmas, I'm so going to sleep and rest. Well, you are attending 10 programs this December. Why didn't you mark out like 10 sleeps like that for yourself? Reset so that you can do what? You can refresh your mind for the new year. Let me tell you why I observe dates and times in quotes. It's just a human opportunity for us to reset the clock. There's nothing more than that. Who you are from December 31st to January 1 doesn't remarkably change. Even when you receive a word of prophecy, except you agree with it. This Elijah, everybody was saying mighty man. Elijah was in the forest, wilderness, arguing with his thoughts, and everybody was celebrating him in the city, talking about the man that just embarrassed the prophets of Baal. But he was still arguing with his thoughts. Imagine he came out from that wilderness without being fed, without being rested, without having a strategy. Do you know that it was after all this drama, the Lord now spoke to Elijah? Even me, I was like, God, you like drama? Why didn't you speak to him since he entered this wilderness looking for a way? He didn't speak to him. He waited when he had eaten, he had drank, he had slept. Then God now say, I have sent to you this man, this man, this man, this man. This one will be your this one will be your that. This is what you will now do. This is how you will now do. By the time Elijah came out in chapter 19, he was like, nobody will believe what he went through in that wilderness. They would think he was just in the wilderness, pacing around, speaking in tongues, and just dominating the universe. So you and I know the work you're going to do here. This is a place of safety. This is a place of vulnerability. Most of all, this is a place of learning. It is not learning something new. It is learning who you are from the inside. It is in obeying what your spirit, your soul, your body needs. There's something the Science of Getting Rich says. It says that in this world, I put that clause, in this world, you need your mind, you need your soul, you need your body. Basically, that's body, soul, spirit. If your mind is not right, if your soul is not right, your spirit might as well go to heaven. You can't really function in this world intelligently. If your body is not right, you're trapping your spirit and all its energy, all its power in a vessel that cannot operate on the earth. Then if your spirit is not right, basically your body is useless. Your body is useless. So the majesty of calmness is how you bring in those pieces of yourself. You will learn here how a lack of calmness, a lack of you not owning your calmness because it's within your spirit. The Bible says Christ has been made unto us peace. He is our peace. He has been made unto us wisdom. It talks about the peace that he gives to us that the world cannot understand. He didn't say, ask me for peace. No, he already gave you. There's a scripture I love in Proverbs. It said, look at Zion. Look how fortified Zion is. Mark ye her bulwarks. Like Zion is the kind of place you would come and you watch and be like, wow. You see the borders, you see the fences, you see the armed personnel standing outside Zion ready to go. Look at Zion. Zion is fortified. How is your soul not fortified? How's your spirit left to be drained? Your body left to just tire itself out? How? That's what we're going to be doing. I want you to so master calmness that people are like, you're scaring me now. Your level of peace. Are you sure this is not oblivion? Are you sure you're not trying to numb? That's how you start seeming to people. So watch it. Danger zone. When you leave here, people are going to wonder, I don't know if this is a good thing. Why? Because you don't fret as much as you used to fret before. So now, are you all ready? Tell me something you have heard so far before we go into chapter 1. Tell me something that stood out to you so far. Just on mute.
Hello.
Hey, Ajane.
Hi. I think for me, the Lord's been dealing with me strongly this entire year about the power of presence and giving me a permission slip to really live by still waters. And so as you were talking, what he just kept repeating to me was that a life lived in peace is one that's enthroned around the supremacy of Christ. So if my life is enthroned around Christ's supremacy, I should be unmoved and unbothered and unshakable. So that's something that I felt like was echoing for me as you were speaking, just as we're dissecting all of this over the next couple of weeks, but just remembering that just as blood-bought believers, we have a divine right to live a life enthroned around the fact that this is already over. So that's kind of what was sticking out to me while you were talking.
Ajane, please excuse my face. This is the face that Nigerians make when stuff is hitting us. So just, I think it's Black people, maybe some Greek people too. We just get so silly with our faces. Yeah, let me go back to my majestic face. Isn't that, it is a blood-bought right. Somebody died so you could have peace. Somebody died so you could have peace. All right. Who else? Someone else, please go ahead. Sometimes we're worried like it's a bad.
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead, please.
Hi,
Nana,
I've got kids
how are
in the
you?
background, so pardon the noise. But I think what really stood out to me was when you said that you get to such a calm state that everyone's like, are you sure? Are you sure you're okay? Are you sure you're not trying to be numb? That really stood out for me because I've really been getting that sense as well. especially in the last few months, that, you know, I've got to come to a place where no matter what comes my way, I just remember the dream I had, like I had a right to something, but they didn't give it to me. And I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. And finally I was giving that. And it was like, I don't even know how to explain it, but if I had given up, I wouldn't have gotten what I needed. And I had to stay calm throughout that process. So when you were saying that the road is long, the journey is long, like I need to remember that, and I need to stay calm. I'm not expecting something overnight. After all, God is a God of eternity. So I have to have that perspective. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Nana. That is such a reminder. The journey is long. This is why. This isn't a temporary thing so that you go back to worrying in January. No, the journey is long. All right, Chaka, please go ahead and unmute yourself. People I love everybody.
Hello again, everyone. So when you were talking about about the man who says he has his personal foxhole during the war season, I feel like panic is on display. I feel like society is hawking panic. Have you heard? Do you know? So it's like, it's almost spiritual warfare to maintain your peace. And so when you were talking about a war situation and having your personal foxhole, what came to me was the seemingly oblivious prophet Elisha. His servant says to him, Master, alas, we are finished. And he's like, why? He says, there's an army outside. And the dude is like, okay. And he says that's my best statement in the entire Old Testament. Simply says, those that are for us are more than those that are against us. And that's not a mathematical statement, because those that are for us are more in number, but they are also mightier in strength. So it's not they are more than, it's beyond that. And I think that I'm reminded again why I need to know that the kind of backing that we have is phenomenal. It is unmatched. And therein lies our peace.
Come on. Woo! This is so true. Again, remember, if the people of this world can have peace, I don't think everybody's out there fretting. No, everybody isn't. You know someone who has the mastery and the majesty of calmness. We all do, to some extent. How much more you? You say that you know that Jesus died for you. You say that you know that he is with you. What is a more potent way to demonstrate that in your daily life than knowing that you are surrounded by an innumerable company of angels? You can't dash your foot against a stone. And your child just walks to the corner. Oh my God, these children. And you think it's love, you think it's care. No, my heart is in my mouth. Society has made the language so ubiquitous. We just take it. It just seems real. And you'll come to find out that calmness is not coldness, but neither is it fire and fretting. No, it's somewhere in the happy middle. All right, let me take Anu and Oyinda, and we'll get into our chapter 1.
Thank you, Mama V. One of the things that I want to say that really stood out for me was the part about retreat and Prophet Elijah. And it just stood with me that sometimes you can have a retreat of rest and food and still come out in a place of power. Because who would have believed when Elijah came out that he was actually just eating and getting fed and drinking water and just getting instructions? Because I mean that when we think about retreat, because I plan my retreat for the year and all I have inside it is more. Just do more prayer, more. And it's just revolutionizing what retreat can be. Like you can actually just be chilling and be resting, and the Lord is feeding you and you are drinking. And by the time the new year, I just seeing results. Everybody's like, she must have fasted for 100 days. This is the kind of result you get from 100 days fasting and prayer. And you're just eating and feeding and resting. I deserve that. And that's what I will do this year. Thank you so much.
That's my sweetie mama. She just had a baby. Tell her congrats in the chat. All right, Oyinda, let's take you, and then open your books. We're getting into the book. Bring out your journal, your pens, everything. We're getting into it. Oyinda. Oyinda, did you put up your hand? Okay, yeah. Go ahead and speak. I see that you're unmuted, but I can't hear you. Go ahead and speak. All right, Oyinda, as soon as you're able to speak, when we can hear you, just go ahead and talk, okay? Okay, try one last time. All right, if not, go ahead and put it in the chat. Great, I see you in the chat. Okay, Temitope says the life of Christ clearly exemplifies calmness, clearly. But is this same Jesus and his calm who went into the temple and started overturning tables? And you'll be like, is that calm? You're about to find out. It is calm. All right. So this chapter, we're going to go through, in this book, we're going to go through 4 weeks of just immersing ourselves in this environment where we are enough, where all that we require for this life is already within us. We're just learning how to use that power. When you see a missile built, sitting, and is just in its well in North Korea, it has all the power it would need to destroy a city in the United States as it would just being there dormant. The same with the ones in America. In 20 minutes, it can destroy Russia, but where is it? It's just there in the neighborhood. In fact, people living 10 miles down the road have no idea. But the power is there, is inherent. There is nothing we're going to teach you that you are going to take and add to who you are. Who you are is a person already resourced with peace. Jesus is not going to die again and become your peace. No, he's already become it. And I want to show you how to hone it. Because Elijah couldn't just be told, don't you know you have peace? Walk in it. No, he had to rest. He had to rejuvenate. He had to reset so he can go back out and face the world again. Say, I'm retreating, I'm rejuvenating, and I'm resetting to go back and face the world again. Put it in any way you want in the chat. I just want to see it. It is a commitment you're making to yourself, your soul, your body, your spirit. Say, I will take time out for you. Make your commitment in the chat. What are we going to be doing? In your email, you would have gotten the calendar. Thank you so much. Ele has been really our coordinator helping us with this. We're going to have videos dropping Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays because I've seen that. You see this material? If we're going to exhaustively teach it, we might be on it for 6 months. We're trying to do it in 4 weeks. And by golly, I'm going to do all that I can to help us get it. Because I'll be practicing what it teaches. What are we going to cover? We're going to cover today's one, which is the Majesty of Calmness. It's an overview of the whole class. The next one is hurry, the scourge of America. I know some of you don't live in America, but it's literally the scourge of the world. When William George Jordan wrote this book, I don't think he realized how much of in a hurry the world was about to be. There was no McDonald's at the time he was writing this. There was no Starbucks. They would make coffee by seeping through, like literal coffee beans. That's what they would do. Yet he recognized that there is something about hurry, this thing about time, this thing about your age. And I'm taking, when Ajane was talking, I don't know why the picture of Elizabeth kept coming to my mind. Ajane, she used to inspire prophetic visions. And Ajane was doing this thing where she became, did I say Ajane? Elizabeth was doing this thing where herself and Mary, at different phases of their lives, were walking through the same season. How crazy is that? And they're both celebrating. Elizabeth should have been saying, I've really suffered in this life. So it's me and this my niece or cousin, Mary. They were worlds apart in age. Elizabeth could have literally given birth to Mary. But she wasn't judging herself because of time. That's hurry, the scourge of the world. We want to do it yesterday. We want to do it this morning, what we can do in 5 years. But remember how Jesus went into hiding, I don't even know what to call it, for 30 years. And his 3 years was like some people's 66 years. The second one, or the next one, is the power of personal influence. A lot of us, we don't realize our own personal power and influence that we both absorb and radiate. We don't realize it. And we'll be learning it and mastering. Oh my gosh, he goes into such detail. You would love it, absolutely. Then we go to the dignity of self-reliance. The Calvary is not coming from where? The outside. This was the chapter where when it was time to intercede before going to the cross, what did Jesus do? He went and prayed. He said, disciples, pray with me. He sought help. Did help come? They were there, but they were just literal time wasters. I don't even know what to call them. And at the end, he knew, if I'm going to go to that course, I better take personal responsibility for making this thing happen. And he started interceding on his own behalf to be strong enough for the journey. A time comes in your life. If you cannot count on you, you cannot expect to count on somebody else. And you're going to learn how. Then failure as a success. Look, everything here is not just what the world has brought to you. Some of these things you have caused for yourself. Some of these things we have made the mistakes from trying and failing. From trying, we have made some mistakes and things. Even we're even judging ourselves now. We're like, Coach Brother, nobody did me. It's me that did myself. I'm just paying for, some of the things I did. I didn't really take time to rest. That's why right now my life is we're going to drop all the seeming failures and challenges. It doesn't matter whether you caused it, whether somebody else caused it. We're just going to drop it. We're just going to be like, okay, so what? We're just going to start again. He talked about how Benjamin Franklin, till he was 50, before he became a person of any repute, and you're 35 and you feel like your life is gone. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing enough. I even sound like I don't know anything. Imposter syndrome is taking you for a ride in a Lamborghini, in the trunk of the Lamborghini, and you're in it. Why? There's no need. We're going to then enter our reset side, and I love this. It's the doing our best at all times. Do you know that you can still fail when you're doing your best? You know that you put your all. This year you said, finally, I'm going to start saving. And the emergency that came and hit you in the face was unprecedented. You're just like, but I did everything though. But I'm not supposed to be here. This was the year that I took the steps to make sure that I invested. Now see what the stock prices are doing. Look at the dollar price. Look at the world economy. But I campaigned for this politician. This was where we put our hope, and it failed. But I. This is where the majesty of calmness comes. It comes to carry you like a baby and tide you through the storms. Tide you through the storms. Doing our best at all times. You're going to learn that. And the final one, the royal road to happiness. And one of the direct quotes from it talks about how this thing that we're doing, it is not for a selfish purpose. Who we are impacts who we are to the world. Who we are impacts how the world experiences us. That now makes them better or worse. That now brings a change to our society. Who we are does that. And that is where you find the ultimate calmness. When you know that I'm not living this life for myself. It's beyond me. I will always be fine. I've always been fine. And right now in this moment, I'm fine because of what I mean to the world. All right. If you're ready, let me see some fire emojis in the chat. Let's say ready, ready, ready. And let's enter paragraph 1. Woo! Calmness. And if you don't yet have your copy, somebody put the link in there so that they can go get their copies. Okay? This is 1 hour in. Drink some water. Organize your papers. I have my tea, my water here. And we're about to enter it. If anything stands out to you, put it in the chat. If you have any questions, go ahead and put it there. I'm going to save these chats, so I'll go over it beyond here. If we don't get to answer any question today, I'll be sending it to you beyond here, okay? Say hi to somebody in the chat. Just love on somebody, encourage somebody. Look at a name. Be like, I've been Bola. 2025 is your year. Look at how I'm putting pressure. This year is your year. Even today, this morning is your morning, okay? I've been Bola. That's how it is. Hello. Let me look for someone I haven't met before. Ebere. Ebere, your name is so beautiful. I just see your life blossoming. Yeah, Joy. I know so many joys. I don't know which one this joy is, but I just pray for you. Everywhere you go, you carry the gift of joy. Joy Keegan. She's literal joy. That's what she is. Magdalene. What a beautiful name. Okay. Love on somebody in the chat. Don't talk to people you know. Don't talk to don't do it. Talk to people you don't know. The people you know later. Talk to them after talking about somebody you know. This is so sweet. Blessing is saying how our rest looks good on you. I hope it looks good on me too. Okay. I see someone, Adoma, is saying Chiaka 2024 still has a lot to unpack for you. No pressure, no pressure. Okay. The majesty of calmness. Now, what is this? You're wondering. I will be sharing my screen just briefly as I read out to you, okay? Share screen. Okay, found you. So calmness is the rarest quality in human life. The rarest quality. Can you see my screen? If you can see my screen, let me know. Calmness is the rarest quality in human life. First of all, before anything else. Because not a lot of people have it or inspire it. It is the poise of a great nature. You see, when I read about, when I studied the word poise, because I wanted to know what this is. Lady Bodam is here. She teaches refined elegance, etiquette, and all of those lovely things. That's the way you should sit and your posture. But when you go into the root word of poise, it means weight. Actually, poise, P-O-I-S, is pound, is weight in Spanish, which I'm learning Spanish, by the way. It is weight. You see somebody, they look tiny. You should see Minister Ajane. You should see her here. She's all of maybe 5 feet, Minister Ajane. Correct me in the chat if I'm wrong. She's like a size 4 powerhouse. You just see her and you're like, there's power here. You don't know what it is you saw because it's not the weight. She's beautiful. She's all this thing, but you can't call her light. There is weight in her presence. It is the poise of a great nature. It is in harmony with itself and its ideals. Remember that thing I told you about the congruence between who you see in your mind and who you manifest in this world, and how sometimes that can bring a level of misalignment and you almost want to lose your peace because of it. No, this person shows up, even though they're wearing rags. You do a double take because you're like, who on earth is this person? There's something about you. So calmness is majestic. It's magnetic. Do you see that? It's in harmony with itself and its ideals. It is the moral atmosphere. You know, some people you get around, even when did you have one teacher in your school? There were teachers and there were teachers. This teacher didn't flog. This teacher didn't shout. But you just behaved when you're in the presence of this teacher. If any of you have you've experienced a teacher like that, put it in the chat. And I know some of you who are like, sorry, did she say flog? I know you don't know that life. It's okay. It's okay. Put it in the chat if you know any such teacher. You do, right? They just command your respect. You just want to do right. You have those friends when you're around them, you just want to speak properly. You just know you can't gossip in this arena. Do you understand? Like, they just bring behavior. It is a moral atmosphere of a life that is self-centered. When we started out and somebody was defining, I think Otonye or Ogo was talking about a centered life, a life that is anchored. There is a weight within holding the person tall. I wanted to say holding the person down, but it's not really holding the person down. It is holding the person up. Self-centered, self-reliant. They can generate what they need from within. And finally, self-controlled. They don't react, they respond to things. They are proactive people. This next line really blew my mind. Calmness is the singleness of purpose. Singleness of purpose. Part of the reason why this December can be a harried month is you brought out the list of 15 goals you made at the beginning of the year, and you're trying to rush to complete all of them. No, singleness of purpose. Today, I will live to the best of my ability as God wants me to live. Cindy Trim has if she tells you her purpose, even you'll be like, wait, what? She said something about living every day to the best of the something of, it's like, it is so ephemeral. You're just like, okay, so what is it? Because you said we must build this community to 5,555 people. This is the goal. And what is our metrics? We're not there yet. People don't celebrate because you've given yourself prayer what? Pressure. Singleness of purpose, absolute confidence. Absolute confidence. I don't know if Chidima is in this call, but she's a confidence coach. What is confidence? There is a mix of efficacy, self-efficacy. I can actually do this thing and I will do this thing. Absolute confidence and conscious power. Ready to be what? Focused in an instant to meet any crisis. Calmness is not a life without crisis. I hope you've seen it. It's not a life without crisis. So when I was thinking of crisis, I say, hey, I want to give my ladies an example. What is a great example I can give? And I thought about this. How many of you are moms here? You've had a baby. Maybe the first time your baby's diaper blew out. You know, at first it's cute little diapers. You're just like, oh, has baby peed yet? Has baby pooped yet? Oh my gosh, like a little smear. It looks cute and all. Till one day you are out in the public, you brought 3 diapers. They have exploded 2 diapers. And 1 diaper is left. And this baby does the blowout that even you are drenched. What is your singleness of purpose in that instance? What's your singleness of purpose? Put it in the chat. It's to get baby back to normal. Get baby clean, get baby well. I hope we don't have mothers here that they were just trying to maintain steeds. No, I'm trying to clean up. What is my purpose of cleaning up? Get my baby comfortable again. My baby is currently uncomfortable. And you see that mother. Everybody's looking at her mother is like, it's okay, baby. Oh, boo-boo. Isn't you that did this blowout? And she's carrying diaper and she's wiping the smelliest poop. You've never seen her be like, I can't be here. Oh my gosh, this is too much. If you start doing that, know that you now need more rest, because to say the truth, sometimes it's a lot to go through. You now don't. But what is calmness? That's singleness of purpose. We're going to clean up. It's okay. Everyone's going to be all right. Sometimes the blowout started from the door. Everywhere is this. What do you know? I'll take care of this baby. When we finish, I will go around the house, use Clorox wipes, clean up. It's just systematic. There's a method to the madness in your head. You have a singleness of purpose. Clean up. Do you have confidence? Yes. I have the resources I need. I have wipes. If I don't have wipes, guess what? There's tissue paper in this toilet. If there's none, go and meet Sister That in the church. Tell her to give you this while you hold the weeping baby. Absolute confidence. I either have the resources or I can access the resources I need. Is baby wailing in that moment? Yes, the baby's wailing. Everything seems chaotic. There's poop on your clothes, even on your mouth sometimes. And you're just there chilled. We're going to get it done. It's all about time. And what is power? I can handle this. I am this child's mother. I have what it takes to make this child comfortable. Conscious power. Ready to be focused in an instant to meet any crisis. Let me ask some of you, in this year, when you faced crisis, and crisis is not cute, oh, don't think I'm talking about, oh my gosh, the cute little setback. No, crisis. What is your usual demeanor? What is your usual response to crisis? Put it in the chat. And just be honest. They just called you now. There's bad news. Somebody has fallen sick. They just called you now, like your company is letting go of 20% of the people. It's a crisis. What is your usual first response? What is your usual first response? I remember when I decided, when I first got born again, and I was trying to unpack, what does this mean to have the Holy Spirit in my life, to have this man, Jesus? Because I wasn't like those of you who, I was raised in the church. No, I found Jesus, or Jesus found me, maybe when I was 18, and I got born again. And I started unpacking what it meant. Do you know one of the things I decided? It's so silly. Some people decided to stop lying. Some people decided to, I decided that I won't fear again. I decided that fear. So if I'm somewhere in public, and somebody just says, Jesus, Jesus, and everybody starts running, guess who will not be running? I promise you. They will have to stampede me out of there. I cannot run like a chicken. I can't. What is inside me is too weighty. In fact, I used to say, if I grew up under the Oshodi Bridge and they say be running, it's going to be hard because I will not catch any more lower. I cannot jump on a bus that is moving. I will not. There's something that I carry. It's too weighty. It's too weighty. How do you meet crisis? Okay, somebody here said, I always pray first because I know if I don't pray, there won't be order within me. So all the other prayer you were praying before, what was it doing? Because you know, sometimes crisis does not wait for you to go and pray. Crisis is here now. Crisis has happened. There's another scripture that says, if you faint in the day of adversity, your strength is little. Remember Abigail? I wrote a whole book about Abigail. When Nabal's servants came to tell Abigail, there's trouble. David and his men are coming to kill Nabal. It would have been sweet for the Bible to say, then Abigail gathered her servants and went to pray. It would have been so spiritual. It was literally what Moses did when he was facing the Red Sea. What did David do? What did Moses do? He looked up to heaven and he said, God. And he told everybody, stand still, for today you will what? And God was like, Moses, you'll be here like this. The Egyptians, they will collect you. It's time to what? Move. Singleness of purpose. Where were you going? You were moving out of Egypt. What does that entail? There's a Red Sea on my path. There's everything. We do not observe obstacles. What is our aim? What is our singleness of purpose? We move. That is what we do. What is our confidence? Either this water will carry us up, or it will part, or we will swim. We are sure going to go because we're moving on the power of the word. There's a conscious power. We're the children of Israel. We're a people of power. God is like, Moses, this is not the time to move. Move. I mean, this is not the time to pray. It's not the time to look up to heaven and the angels who will come and intervene. When crisis comes to meet you, you know, sometimes some people's prayer is a source of stimulating fear. And I'm not talking about, you know, I know who just spoke. No. You get into a place of prayer. God, what is this? See neighbor now. This husband, it's you that showed me the vision. Don't let people laugh at me. Don't let them kill my husband. What kind of life is this? I've been through too much. I'm tired. God. Have I not suffered? If you are in the living room, you're hearing this prayer, you're like, this woman is interceding. Oh my gosh. It's happening. It's moving. No. The Bible says Abigail calmly gathered gifts. Abigail started directing her army. Hey, servants, you go forward. I'm coming on the donkey. Went there, got in front of David, who the Bible says he had a sword. He had his hand on his sword with 400 soldiers. She got down on her knees and started speaking to this man from a place of perfect articulation for a speech that was unrehearsed, but was about to change the destiny of not only Nabal and her people, but of David himself. Because had David murdered Nabal, the promise may not have been his. He would have spilled innocent blood, and God did not give him the permission. His path to ascending the throne was to be this calm person who was able to look at Saul, see beyond Saul, keep his eye on the prize. And that's why after she finished, David told Abigail, said, Abigail, the Lord has sent you to me this day. That's what he said. That is calmness. She had a singleness of purpose. I'm going to stay David's hand. She had absolute confidence. Hey, I have food, I have stuff to speak to him, and conscious power. So be a woman that somebody can bring a crisis to, and you are not like, half of the things we do, they are learned things. Jesus, oh my gosh. I say this, and I say this not from pride. I don't even know why I have to explain it. But I rarely cry for sadness. When I say I rarely, like 99% of the time, when you see me cry, it is because of joy. It is if I see two people being kind to each other, like I see, this person telling this person in the chat a word of encouragement, it brings tears to me. I see love, I see purity, I see joy. I see God's hand. In worship, I can weep from now to tomorrow. But there's a crisis, you bring it to me. We stand and we go nowhere. It's either that thing bows, or according to Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. And it's important when you read the Bible, don't just read the miracles. Listen to some of the phrasing. They didn't say, we trust God, he will save us. Why didn't they just stay there? Because right now, if we read some of the things they're saying, we're like, is it a lack of faith? Who remember the appendage, the addendum they added to what they said, that God will save us? Who remembers? My co-teachers. Lara is saying,
but even if he doesn't, we will still go in.
But was it really necessary for them to add that though? Because don't they have faith? Because some of us, our children say something, or our friend is even saying, no, don't say that. Don't say it. God will not allow. Will your calmness be compromised because you actually see something that is not aligned with what you expected? Regardless, any crisis. I want you to take these three things and go back and study it. Singleness of purpose. What is my purpose? By the time we finish our week 4, we're ending out with a seminar called Purpose, Vision, and Goals. And you'll be able to articulate that. If anything is not in alignment with it, you don't align. That's it. Absolute confidence. You have what it takes. You have what it takes. Chaka spoke about the angels, the company that is with you. You have what it takes. Okay, angels are even great. What about the one that lives within you? Elisha didn't have that. You do. Absolute confidence and conscious power. I love something Jesus said. He said, he gives me power to lay down my life. He could have said, oh, he's the power in me to lay down my... You are in possession of the power. He has given it to you. Don't think you always have to stand and wait till you be imbued with power from on high. That power is resident in you. If a crisis comes to you, you have the power. He doesn't bring anything to you you don't have the power to handle. He doesn't. And in the place of rest, you will get in touch again with that power. In the place of rest, you will be infused. He said, the power that is mightily at work in me is like dynamis. It's a dynamo. It is self-replicating, self-perpetuating. You just have to stir it up. In rejuvenation, you do that. And in resetting, you are like, where are we focusing this missile to handle? All right. Now going into the next part, and you will get the worksheets. My gosh, there's so many notes for this, like you have no idea. So what is this calmness? A lot of you gave examples. A lot of you spoke about certain things. What is this calmness? What is it and what isn't it? Now remember, some people will tell you, you'll see some friends, they don't laugh, they no longer smile, they're just hard. Everybody should be doing what they're doing. Me, I won't say anything. Is that calmness? Yeah, I won't say anything. I will just, do you understand? Everybody should just be going and be doing what they're doing. It said here, the Sphinx is not a true type of calmness. You know what the Sphinx is? The Sphinx is that bird that if it looks at somebody, they will turn into stone. It's a mythical thing. The Sphinx is not a true type of calmness. Petrifaction is not calmness. That means turning into stone, turning into this person that does not respond. You are just cold. Anything that happens, you're just cold, like this, unfeeling. So that's not calmness. It is death. It is the silencing of all the energies. Because that same way you deadened your sadness is the same way you deadened your joy. Sometimes crisis beats us so much. We're just like, I've seen life. I don't want to see again. So no matter what they say happens, you're not even much. You're just like, you're just tired. And what is the contrast? That no one lives her life more fully, more intensely, more consciously than the man who's calm. You know, Tomer and I were talking today, and if you have time, go back and listen to the IG Live. And one of the things we talked about, sometimes some people think calmness is a type of personality. Nah, it said here, more fully. Calmness is not in the depth or the lightness of your tone. Calmness is not in the aloofness. No, it can be intense. Jesus was intense, he was calm. It is conscious, it's not oblivious. Like me, I don't watch TV. I don't watch TV, I don't watch politics, I don't even want to know what's happening in the world. You're just like, let me just cut myself off. I don't want to know. The only way you can have peace is not to ever access social media. That's not calmness. That's not calmness. This person is conscious. You are engaged with the world, but you know that you are not of the world, even though you are in the world. The next one is the fatalist. The fatalist is not calm. He's the coward slave of his environment. You know, this is how UK is. So if you really want to start life, just become a caregiver and start from there. But the truth is that where can you really go? And this is the path to citizenship. Do it for 10 years. After, at least the children would have gone to school. You just look for a way. Maybe you and somebody join and buy a house. Each family take one room. And that's just how this life is. God will help us. God will help us. It is a good starting point. But is that the destination? That's not calmness. Hopeless surrender to present condition. I didn't say continued navigation because anybody can start anywhere. Hopeless surrender to present condition. Any day God wants to change my story, let him change it because I can't do anything about this. Recklessly indifferent. They say they are doing a call. Let me go and hear, well, anything that wants to happen, let it happen. 2025 will be what it will be. I can't keep myself. I can't come and keep myself energy. That person accepts life as a rudderless ship. Have you ever seen a ship that is going nowhere? Even by definition, it doesn't make sense. We started out this call talking about the anchor doesn't just anchor in the middle of the ocean. It can do it temporarily while people rest or something. But a ship by destination is a vehicle from place to place by definition. It does not just drift on the ocean of time. This kind of person, the fatalist, this is somebody who is like, what will be, que sera, has no compass, no chart, no vision, no strategy. No vision, no strategy. I don't even really want to try anything. I've been burned in my life, brother. You don't really understand. No vision, no strategy. I've just said I'm in a season where God should just take me where he wants to go. I just surrender. It always sounds cute. It does. But God never leaves anyone without a vision or a purpose. Never, never. Even while Elijah was there resting and eating, he was still a man of vision. That was but a step in his vision. Rest was a key point. It was not a surrendering of vision. You are always intrinsically, inherently a person of purpose. Your life counts. Your life has meaning. No chart, no known port. to which he's sailing? Do your friends, do the people around you know where you're going? Do they know that this is a desire this person has? Or again, are you just like, I don't like to say anything, let me just be going like that? His self-confessed inferiority to all nations is shown in his existence of constant surrender. This is not what, put it in the chat. This is not what, just in case you were ever thinking, maybe what she's saying is that let's just let go and let God. What does letting go and let God mean? If you are holding on to something, it means God is holding on to something. You know, sometimes we like to separate ourselves and God in our minds. We have become one with him. Our lives are hid with Christ in God. He has been made unto us wisdom. That means that the way I think about matters, the way I appropriate matters is the wisdom of God. We're not separate from him. His very life is in every fiber of our being. He's not separate in our spirit and then he's like, no, work your body out. He's not separate in our mind and he's like, no, you deal with it. He is with us, in us, through us. The man who's calm has his course in life clearly marked in his chart. So I dare to tell you today, if you don't yet have a vision, an aspiration of your mind, of your soul, something that your heart yearns for, you cannot enter the realm of calm. It will be but a sleeping person in your boat. James Allen said, wake up the commander, he but sleeps. That's the way they woke up Jesus in the boat. He's in the boat. He was never not in the boat. Maybe you have just not woken him up so that he can encourage you. Do you understand? But clearly, his course in life is clearly marked on his chart. Your hand is ever on the helm. Do you know this is how you can be calm? Because you cannot be holding on to this thing and also hold on to 10 other things. This is why your peace cannot be taken away. When your hand is firmly on your peace, when your hand is holding the thought that in all these things, I am more than a conqueror. You cannot at the same time hold the thought that we are finished, I'm finished, there's no hope. Those two thoughts cannot at the same time have dominion over your mind. One must win. You must give one the place of ascendancy. Okay, please, somebody put this thing in the chat. What is coming? Can you imagine the ocean? Somebody is traveling the ocean for 1 year and you don't expect that you will see storm. You will not see fog. You will not see night. You will not see night in this life of seasons and times. In fact, it's the one thing that Jesus assured us, you will always have this thing, trouble. Oh my God. Trouble you always have with you. He said, cheer up. I've overcome them. But he said, in this life, you will have trouble. Storm, fog, night, tempest, danger, hidden reefs. Remember, we spoke about, okay, what about the ones I didn't even anticipate? Why didn't I see it? Is there something wrong with me? Why didn't Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, I dreamt about this last night? I normally see things in my dream. God shows me. How come I didn't see this one? Why didn't they say, I saw it in our dream? This was how God delivered us miraculously and all these things. Why didn't they say that? They're like, if it comes, so if it doesn't come, why? The end is always good. Paul said, for me to live, for me to die. The person writing this thing is in the jail cell. If that's not calmness, I don't know what is. He is made calm. This is how you are made calm and serene. If you say, brother, I want to be a serene person. I want to be a calm person. This is how. You are made calm and serene. By what? By the realization that in this crisis of his voyage, he needs a clear mind and a cool head. Please, what do you need more than a clear mind and a cool head? In the time of crisis, what do you really, really need? You need a foggy brain. You need external advice. In fact, before you take external advice, and please watch out for your friends. If your friends ask you for advice in time of crisis, the first thing you say is, are you okay? Have a clear mind and a clear head. Nobody needs solution at that time. The place, the energy of this crisis is such that you want there to be peace, first of all. You want peace to be asserted. A clear mind and a cool head. When any crisis comes, don't think you have to go back and go and pray first. In fact, it is a cool head and a clear mind that now takes you, okay, let us go to the place of prayer. Remember what Daniel did? When he found out that, when Daniel found out that they had now said that, oh, everybody in the palace, they're about to murder everybody. And if people don't tell him his dream, they are going to, all the magicians, everybody is going to be put to death. Who remembers what Daniel did?
He asked for time.
To go and do what?
To go and ask for mercy. So he'll get the answers.
So he even had the presence of mind to negotiate. Do you see? He didn't even say, please, you can kill the rest of them. Me, I'm coming. No. He said, what's happening here? When they now told him, he now asked, can you give us still? Do you see that's clear mind? That's clear mind. That's not, oh, we do, oh my gosh, we are finished. Go. Because that would have been prayer as well. So he even had a definite purpose in prayer. I'm going to find out the answer. He had it. He was not going there to just look for God. Can you just kill this king? Let's just go freely. We can't. This is too much for us. No. He had a definite ask. Do you know what you're praying for in a crisis? I know the easiest thing to pray for. People are just like, God, have mercy on us, have mercy. And God is like, ask me. Again, we're not asking him so he can give us. We're asking him because the Bible says if you ask, you will receive an answer. It is there. It's like turning the knob. If you seek, you will find. It's not hidden from you. It is hidden for you. That he has not to do, but to do each day the best he can by the light that he has. You can't do more than what you know. You can't do more than your power. Know that and know what? Know peace. You don't know what you don't know. I remember when Otoye was telling me about the baby, sometimes baby will cry at night. And you'll tell Otoye to congratulations. I just love babies. You only know what you know. I remember we used to bathe my baby. My husband used to bathe him in the sink. Till my mom came. Oh my gosh, we're bathing in bathtub, we're bathing in the sink. I wish I knew it was let baby be clean. We only can do each day the best by the light that we have. The wisdom you have for now, apply it. After that one, put your hand up and you leave the rest for who? For God. That is where calmness comes from. I can only do what I can do by the light that I have, by the knowledge and the wisdom I currently have. I can only call on the friends that are present in my life. If a destiny helper is coming from somewhere, may he find me. But for now, this is what I got. Do you see that there's a calmness that comes upon you? In fact, I want you to be asking yourself, I want you to call up to your mind a crisis, a seeming crisis you have in your life right now and say, what can I do but what I can do? And really answer that question for yourself, because if you haven't done all that you know to do, then go do it. But when you've done all, I love that scripture so much in the Bible that says, haven't done all to what? To stand. What can you do but what you can do? That he will never flinch nor falter for a moment. It's not cute to be that doubter. Don't think that is normal, that every time a crisis comes, you now lose your faith. Your friends have to now encourage you in the faith. Then everybody is now encouraging you. You are now standing. You are now not standing. You are just like, it's too much. Then everybody pays you today. Then it's not cute. It's the mark of a baby. Will you cry? Probably. But that your conviction goes everywhere. It is not the majesty of calmness. Remember, what is majesty? We all see the queen, the queen of blessed memory, and we revered her. Why? The dignity, the majesticness of her royalty. There's a demeanor that we expect from her. Does it make her less human? No, but we're just like, yeah, queen, Sha, behave. That's all we know. If the whole army likes, let the army die, the queen is supposed to come out and be like, people of England, Northern Ireland, and Wales, Scotland, I commiserate with you on the loss of our sons, our brothers, our fathers. We expect it of her. We do. We're like, Queen, are you flinching? I'm sorry, ma. You are our queen. Come and talk. You are faltering. Why is your voice shaking, ma? You are our strength at this time. That was the responsibility Daniel took upon himself. You are the mistress of your castle. You're the master of your castle. The kingdom that is called by your name. There's nobody else that is running that ship. Don't say Jesus take the wheel. It sounds cute. Jesus is like, collect your wheel back. This is the journey of your life. Collect your wheel. I will help you. Ask me. It's your will. Because if he takes the wheel, what does judgment day now mean now? Jesus should then come and answer on judgment day on your behalf. I'm going to wrap this side up. No, we have not finished. We're here till another 20 plus 30 for another 50 minutes. If you are here with me, say I'm here. The replay will be available to you. But if you're here with me, say I'm here. Say I'm here. I am describing to you who the calm person is. He does not flinch. He does not falter. He does not flinch. He does not falter. He knows who has him. He knows who she is. She knows beyond a shadow of doubt. Can you put some of your I ams in the chat for me? I know that I'm a daughter of Zion. I'm a savior that is called upon Mount Zion. There's no trouble that I meet or that meets me that I do not carry a solution for. And I bring all of the divinity within me to bear upon that situation and circumstance. I know that I am encompassed round about by a company of innumerable angels. I know that I'm a person of power. I know that I am bound unto every good work. Around me is good works. I'm like the yeast that if I'm added to anything, that thing must of necessity multiply and reproduce. I know that there's no crisis that has met me that can take the rug off of my feet. I know that worst case scenario is that I translate from this world and go and join my Father in heaven. Life nor death scare me. I am covered on every front. What is your I am? What is your I am? Someone here said, I know I am at peace. I know that he never leaves nor forsakes me. I know that the one that keeps Israel, he never sleeps nor slumbers. I know that what I'm going through is that which is common to man. I believe God when he says that I will never see what is beyond me. I know. What does this knowledge call from me? What kind of character? What kind of behavior? The Bible says, knowing this, what manner of man ought you to be? Knowing this. The things you wrote here, I am calm, I am helped, I'm surrounded by grace. What manner of person, if you knew that you were surrounded by grace, if you knew that you were surrounded by favor, what doors would you go and knock on? If you knew you had angelic assistance and you watched your child fall down from upstairs and broke their foot, if you knew you were mightily helped, oh God. If you knew that you are never diminished and somebody attacks you, insults you, if you knew that you are never diminished by the reproach of men. Do you ever see, you saw the president, well, except some president, God help us, that somebody insulted him and he's like, no, how can he insult me? I'm the president. I can't take it. Does he know me? No, you just move. Because your identity is not anchored upon that person's word of you. The person that put you here did not say anything about you. So if you knew, you may drift. It says, though he may have to tack and leave his course for a time because crises happen. Grief happens. Things happen. And like, this is not how I planned it, or I had to leave that place of work. This is not how I planned it. That marriage was over. This is not how I planned it. He may tack and leave his course for a time. He will never drift. He will get back into true channel. He will keep ever headed towards his harbor. Where is my harbor? That in the land of the living, the Lord is my portion. He is the strength of my life. that his thoughts towards me are of good and not of evil, to bring me to an expected end. This is not the end of my story, as long as there's breath within me. I will never drift. I will not just be like, since this thing happened, I've not been able to find my feet. It's been 7 years now. I don't know where I'm headed. No, ever head, ever head. Oh yeah, I might seem to be detracted for a little bit. Paul was preaching everywhere. Next thing they'll carry him and put in prison. Other people will be preaching. He will send a letter to encourage them. He can't go anymore. He's in prison. He's ever headed towards his harbor. Okay, when he will reach it, how you will reach it matters not to you. But brother, you have been saying that you want a baby. These 7 years of marriage, Joe, I don't know how I will reach it. When I will reach it, I'm doing everything in my power. Remember that we will do the best that we know to do at any given time. And then the law of gender goes to work. The law of gender says that if you set your mind on something and you plant, the law of gender literally is the law of seed time and harvest. But it doesn't say harvest time, because nobody knows. It's only because we have studied some things. We now know orange can fruit in 2 years. We now know that tomatoes is in a matter of months. If we didn't know, we'd just be like, we planted it, so let's be seeing. Okay, he rests in calmness, knowing he has done his best. If her best seems to be overthrown or overruled, then she must still bow her head in calmness. To no woman is permitted to know the future of his life, the finality. Do you ever wake up? You just know, Sha, that in this life, everything will be all right. But you don't know every minute, every day, every adversity you will face. You just don't know it. You don't know it. You might have an idea, but you don't know everything. It's like God commits to us ever only new beginnings, new wisdom, and new days to use the best of her knowledge. Oh my gosh. Somebody who has this note, put one of the quotes around there in the chat. This is what you can expect. Oh, I gain new knowledge, new wisdom from here. Next time, if I'm going to marry again, this is the kind of person I will marry. If I'm going into this kind of business again, I now know this is the way to do it. Only new beginnings. Say today is the beginning of the rest of my life. Put it in the chat. Okay. All right, that is the second chapter. Oh my gosh. So where does calmness come from? Where does calmness come from? One of the things that I put here, and let me open my notes so that I read verbatim from it. Oh, so that part we just read, and you will see it in the notes. I put their destination. 4 things that the calm person has. Number 1, destination. We know we have where we're going. Number 2, distractions. We will always have distractions with us. For valid cause, for no valid cause, life will life. The third one is demeanor. As we're facing these things, as we're facing the distractions, as we're headed to the destination, what is our demeanor? I remember Doris, I don't know if she's on this call now, but Doris said when I was doing the live, one of my live sessions, something that I said that stuck with her, saying that waiting has a posture. Waiting has a posture. How are you going to wait? Have you ever asked your child to wait for something? They're like, mommy, mommy, they've called you 100 times. That's not waiting. I'm bothering you. That's not waiting. But if you wait and say, okay, mommy, I believe you. You said 10 minutes. Okay, I'll be here. I'll wait. You'll come back. They're calm. You'll be like, take 5 things. I wanted to give you one, but now take more. And the final one is detours. If you think that you will not experience any detour, you want to pray the detours away, I want to beg you to save your prayer. We need you interceding for global affairs. To intercede that, oh, you will never face trouble in this world. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. How else would Jesus have died if he did not face? No, we don't do that. All right. So this now comes to that place of the storm, and I think we've talked about it, where even when the storm comes, it just meets the first 200 feet of the sea. You have so much depth that place where God resides, things don't come and reach there. You're not that person that asks people, God, if people is asking, where is my God? Did you see Paul asking? Did you see Jesus asking? Even when Jesus was going to ask, he asked God direct. He did not go and, do you understand? then you didn't even go to hell to die for us. So you can't even pray Jesus' prayer of my God, why is that forsaking me? You can't pray it. So what else? So how deep is your peace? Ask yourself, how easy is it for me to get ruffled? Go and ask some of your friends. Some of you have to do like a deeper work. How easy is it for me to get ruffled? How deep do my agitations penetrate? Are you losing sleep over worry? What does it take to set you off? How easy is it for somebody? If I just say this, you will just, they know. That's why they're telling me like this, because they know that I'm going to shout. I don't like that kind of thing. Why is it so easy to set you off? Why? And now that you know that that kind of thing sets you off, what can you do? Can you now identify it and be like, why does this thing affect me like this? I just be like, you know what? It's not even worth it. And you just change it. You just change it. What does your agitation or shutdown look like? I always say, this is why I started talking about boundaries. I never want anybody to go where God goes in my life. If something bothers me so much, it touches that place in me that only God and worship can touch. That thing is X'd. Is what? X'd. I don't even mean that I'm blocking the person. No, I'm blocking that place off for access. Do you understand? It's not the person's fault. It's me that opened the door. If you open the doors of that part of your house, I mean, people enter. If I come to your house, I went. If you say, oh, feel free, move around, I'd love to tour. So I'll probably go there. So what doors are open? Okay. All right. I think that this will be a good place for us to stay because this is an action part. Let me share this for you. This is such an action part. Whew, my God, my God. Hold on, let me share my screen. And if you haven't yet gotten yours, please go and download it because you most definitely want to refer to this again and again. Remember, next week we're doing the next 2 chapters, which is the retreat part of it before we're going to rejuvenate, before we're going to reset. I'm just introducing you to the Majesty of Calmness. All right. What now happens? You say, brother, wait. Now you're saying all these things. Tomorrow, I'm supposed to meet with my boss. And the way the company has been going, the way this thing has been happening, I don't know. When the worries and cares of the day fret you, this is the action. This is the action. When it frets you, it begins to wear upon you. You know, it starts small. The thing is irritating you. It's agitating you. Next thing, you want to explode. When it begins to wear upon you. You see this chafing? You say when you shave under the friction, you know when both your thighs are touching each other and you're walking, and you start to almost get friction on your thighs, it gets sore. That's what this word stands for, chafing. It begins to chafe. Said, be what? Somebody put it in the chat, because you know we're doing this together. Be what? Be calm. That's not the time to match power for power, energy for energy, shout for shout. You say, Pikin when saying mama no go sleep, himself no go sleep. I had to give it back to her. I had to, because she was just, this is how you know you're losing your calm. When you use words like I had to, I need to, remove those phrases from your dictionary. Except you are trying to explain, maybe I need to breathe. Let it actually be something you need to do. I had to respond because somebody can only take so much. You give up, you serve up your calm in a plate, in a platter of gold to someone undeserving. Be calm. How do you be calm? Number 1, stop, rest for a moment, and let calmness and peace assert themselves. Let what? Calmness and peace assert themselves. Now think about it. The first thing I called it the instigator. What is the instigator? Worries and cares. Worries and cares. Worries and cares. How do I get the children to school? How do I get to work? At work, this. My business, this. My finances, this. My marriage, my relationships, the worries and the cares. Nothing is wrong with it. We'll always have them with us. Worries and cares. Because guess what? Where people are involved, there's always a potential for something to go awry. Instigator. The next one is the impact. It wears upon you. This is why you need that foxhole in your mind, because this happens daily. 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 Sufficient for today are the troubles of today. The Bible said it. So there are troubles for today. The next one is the intervention. And this is where we're going to focus. Remember, there's the instigator, there's impact, and there's intervention. What is the intervention? Stop. S-T-O-P. Somebody put it in the chat. Tell your neighbor, stop. Like the angel told Elijah. Elijah wanted to talk about the state of Israel and Jezebel and the eunuchs and the victories and the prophets and the fire from heaven and the water. He said, what? Stop. That's what I'm asking you to do here today. That's what I've made you do here today. Stop. 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 Do what? Rest for a moment. Let calmness and peace assert themselves. You see, now you're filling up your mind with these things. This is what will come out in a crisis time. But because it's something you're still getting used to and learning, it's a muscle you're still working, you have to stop to let it become your automatic mechanism. Because the world doesn't really teach it. The world doesn't really expect it. So something you have to do intentionally. You stop. You stop. A delayed response is better than a reactive response. You simply stop. You simply stop. Rest for a moment. Rest, 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 rest. In resting, they didn't say worry. No, said let calmness and peace assert themselves. One of the classes I'm going to teach, I think I'll say something about deep breathing, because letting calmness, if you're able to regulate your breath, it is a physiological thing that impacts your soul, your emotions. It's reminding your body, which is now in fight or flight mode, because your amygdala has been activated. It is reminding your body that there's no threat. You're okay. Have a mantra. A mantra is simply a scripture, something that you have connected with before. You're okay. Remember those I ams I asked you for? If I put in the text, if you have a quote, a saying, a scripture that you always use to encourage yourself in the Lord, put it. In fact, this is the very definition of encourage yourself in the Lord. When the people came against David and they were like, David, we went to war with you. They've taken our wives, they've taken all our spoil, everything. The Bible says, and David encouraged himself in the Lord. David stopped. He didn't shout, what are you talking about? Me, uncle, my own wife, my own this. Do you know how heavy this crown is on my head? People always blaming somebody. No, he didn't do that. He said, he went away first. He went away. This was just him and God. The things you are trying to talk through with people, you haven't yet talked through with yourself and with your God. You haven't yet talked through. Don't expect from people the validation that only God can give. The assurance that only scripture and a better study of the God that you worship, of the identity that you possess, can give you. Don't expect it of people. All right, if you can mute yourselves. Okay. If you let these irritating outside influences get the better of you, you are confessing your inferiority to them. Ha, Nebuchadnezzar, we have a God now. We can't worship your God. Have mercy now. Please now. How can we, this thing, if we bow down now, our God will be angry, sir. Please don't let us bow down. No. They stood there. They were going to cast them into fire. but they could not be dominated. They were entering that fire like kings, facing fire like kings. God, I did everything you wanted, even in this company. But look, it's me they threw into jail. Joseph, one day I will teach about Joseph. If you were Joseph, if half of us were Joseph, we'll be like, God, take your call, take your purpose. We don't want it. Don't look at me. I want to be normal in my life. In fact, God did so much that if Joseph had gone to hell, it would have been God's fault, because why will you stress my life so much? Only me, they will sell into this. Only me, jail. Only me this. Only me that. You say I have purpose? I don't want that kind of purpose. We want to dictate exactly how our story pans out, instead of saying my life is worth the salvation and the preservation of this kingdom. I love it. Anyway, study. So the number one is stop. Number two is rest. Stop, rest. Stop, rest. Number three is allow. We're going to allow, or we're going to assert. It's a choice that we make. Are you going to allow, or are you going to assert? Number one, you can assert peace and calmness on your environment, in your heart. You can assert that. Or you can allow the irritating outside influences get the better of you. But no, we're not going to do that, are we? And then the next thing, we study what really is going on. Why did the boss yell at me? Study the disturbing elements, because they are disturbing. So I'm not saying, oh, this thing is sweet. No, it's not sweet. It's not interesting. Study the disturbing elements, each by itself. As you start to study, you start to see. Bring all the willpower of your nature to bear upon them. And you will find that they will, one by one, melt into nothingness, like vapors fading before the sun. I'm like, there's really nothing there. You know what? This company environment is toxic. I've spoken with the leader. Okay, maybe I'll talk with this person. Let me have a one-on-one with the boss to say, hey, this is not the way you talk with people. Is there a way we can get off so we can resolve this conflict? And do you understand? You bring this thing to nothingness. And the person will be like, I didn't really know. That's how my father used to be in the army. This is how he used to shout. So I didn't even know how my voice was really. Next time, just tell me. You see, it will melt into nothingness. Or if they're like, no, you're a bastard, how dare you talk to me? Then you know that, you know what? I'll just leave. All it is nothingness. Vapors fading before the sun. Vapors fading before the sun. That's what it is. What will then happen? Remember, this by observational thinking. This is how you do this one. You don't do it like, woe is me, this is that, that is that. No, no, no. You do it like, what is really happening here? Is this about me? Is there something I can change, or is there something I need to change? Then you just either change it or you stay with it. It don't really matter. You see? The glow of calmness that will then pervade your mind, the tingling sensation. Have you ever felt inflow of new strength? It's just that sometimes we do these things, but we don't realize that there's a mechanism to it. We're just like, that day I was praying, I just felt so strong, I just felt so powerful. But you were actually obeying that law of rest. Because when you went there, you played worship music, you lay down for the presence of the Lord. You thought you were just lying down in worship. You don't know that the Lord was saying, my daughter, you need rest. You need rest. Come and rest before me. Come and eat. It's okay. Break the fast. Come and rest. And then you say, I just felt so strong. The Lord just ministered strength to me. Yes, it did. But you submitted yourself for the ministration of strength. You did. You submitted yourself. The glow of calmness will pervade your mind. And then it may be to you the beginning of the revelation of the supreme calmness that's possible for you. And then we're just like, Timmy Tokwe, the way you bounce back, I didn't think you could, though. You have a new revelation. You have a new revelation. Then in some great hour of your life, when you stand face to face with some awful trial, when the structure of your ambition and life work crumbles in a moment, you will be what? You will be brave. You will be brave. They sell you into slavery, you will be brave. Joseph, it was said about Joseph in the Bible, it says that the Lord was with Joseph in that prison. In that prison where he was, he so mastered calmness that people looked on him and like, come and tell me my dream. In the prison, he was a master. It doesn't matter where you are. You carry this majesty of calmness, you dominate your environment. You do. You will then fold your arms calmly. And this mom be like, is it James Bond? You will then fold your arms calmly, look out undismayed and undaunted upon the ashes of your hope. My sister, your hope will be dashed. If you've ever had any hope dashed here, put it in the chat. I remember I thought I would be the best graduating student of my university. Another life never seemed possible to me. Your hope will be dashed. Who here has had their hope dashed? Put it in the chat. Let us mourn together. Your hope will be what? It will be dashed. Don't reject what I'm saying. Don't say, God forbid, never in my life. Except you don't dare great things. If you dare great things, there's no story of a great thing that did not encounter failure and correct itself to success and encounter and this and that. Which of your hopes has been dashed before? You see, you made it through. You didn't make it through so that you can be like, never again, I will never encounter a challenge in my life again. No, you went through so that you could master it. Oh, sorry, it's only me that will be talking about my dashed hope. Where is your dashed hope in the chat? I'm looking. What hope did you ever hold that was dashed, the hope that went to ashes? Me, I thought it would be. By the time I was graduating, I was not first class, I was not second class. Dashed hope. But then you fold your arms calmly. Look out undismayed and undaunted upon the ashes of your hope, upon the wreck of what you have faithfully built. Let me tell you, this is the one that's painful. And this is the temptation. A lot of times we're like, but I put all my heart into it. That means now I'm no longer putting my heart into it. You put all your heart into that marriage. They still cheated on you. They still did something. So you're like, I mean, I'm saying this marriage, but my heart is not here again. I've gone. That one is a hard one because I don't know. Are you supposed to be there? Only you can answer. Well, if you're going to stay there, we're going to stay there as people with a hope, with a vision, with a purpose. We're not going to stay there petrified. Remember the petrifaction in the beginning, where we're like, I'm just not going to try anymore again. No, that's not where we stay. Upon the wreck of what you faithfully built. And with brave heart and unfaltering voice, you may say, somebody please say this part out loud for me. Just read that last line for me. It makes me want to cry. You may say what? No, I want somebody to unmute. I can see you guys put it in the chat. Somebody unmute.
So let it be.
I will build again. So let it be. This is what calmness can do. Your calmness has gained the ascendancy. So let it be. I still have creativity within me. I still have life within me. I still have a promise. I still have a God. I still have a vision. So let it be. So let it be. So let it be. What has happened has happened. I will build again. I will try again. I will put all my hope again. I know my hope has been dashed before. I know it may be dashed again. I will do what? Build again. My God, my God. I'm just looking at this. Sometimes I look at this person as if it's another persona, but it is you. This is you. You know why I'm smiling and why I'm also moved? You've done this before, but maybe you did it before with tears. You did it before not knowing how will I do this thing, because all of us have failed before in our lives. The thing is, we don't believe it will ever happen again. So every time it catches us off guard again. Why again? Have I not tried? Why are we here again? Those last ones, they were preparing you for the main one. By the time Potiphar's wife was like, Joseph was like, Cuckoo Seth, my brother's already sold me into slavery. What more can you do to me? By the time that man was not coming back again. But guess what? Joseph didn't stop. Joseph would still say, when you go to the palace, please remember me. How come he didn't say, you know what, people always disappoint you in this life, you can never trust people? He would still submit his resume. When they said the king is looking for you, come out into, he wore his full clothes. I would say he went and dressed up. Why did he still have hope? There was yet hope in him. Say, I have hope, I have hope, I have hope. I have what? I have hope. Whew, the results that will come to you, the things that I identified from this side that we just read, the things that I identified, and I hope you have your piece of paper, is understanding, peace, strength. Remember when he said study, when you study, you will have more understanding. Secondly, when he said the calmness will assert itself, you will have peace. When they say, I felt peace about the situation, why did you wait first? You had to go and do 3 days fasting. The peace should come out naturally. And as you study more, this is what will come out naturally. As you're more intentional about it, it will reduce that time that it takes for you to go from worry to peace. Number 3, you will find strength. Because you see, crisis, they require a response. And crisis is not a one-day adversity event. No, crisis is the worries and the cares of the day. They will meet you with strength. Number 4 is adversity quotient. I called it like an adversity agility, you know, like this adaptation energy to meet a crisis. Okay, this is what has happened. Diaper needs to be changed. The blowout is huge. The car is soiled. No worries. We're good. Have you ever had to deliver a mother before because they couldn't get to the hospital? At that point, it's only men that sometimes they get to labor ward and they start fainting. Have you ever seen a woman faint? You don't know women. They're like, we are burning this baby. That's why the nurse is ready to slap you for that baby to be okay. It's an adversity quotient. It's adversity agility. You're like, this is what we got to do. Don't worry, everybody will be okay. Don't worry, I'll love you on the end of this. But right now, baby needs to be delivered. Adversity quotient. Number 5 is courage. How we face the storm, because we will all face the storm, but how we face it. Jesus and the disciples, they all faced the storm. A portion of them faced the storm with fear, shouting, wailing. They were even praying. But the prayer of Jesus, oh my gosh, there's a book I will encourage all of you to get. It is by Cindy Trim. You know her prayer book. If you remember, it starts with an R. Recreating, it's not recreating. It's not ruling. If you know it, put it in the chat here. It is a way to pray in crisis. You make decrees. At that point, God is telling Moses, divide the sea. He's not sending angels to come and divide the sea or to come and carry the Israelites. No, he said, Moses, divide the sea. So when Moses is praying, Moses is decreeing to the sea, you part hither and thither. Moses is stretching forth his rod. That's the kind of prayer you pray in crisis. It's not the prayer of, I look to you. I look to you. If somebody has that name, put it in the chat. So courage, how we face the storm. We face the storm the way Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego face the storm. That's how we face storms. That's how a calm person face storms, not as a frazzled person. It's not rules of engagement. Yes. How do we engage? Well, like, you came for me. You came for my children. I got you. Let's go there. Let's do this. Why? Because you get backing. It's not every time you hide behind your daddy's back. Sometimes you want to see your children handle things by themselves, and you will be so proud. You will be on the stands. The Bible says that we have a cloud of witnesses that is watching how we ourselves, we are leveling mountains. Then you are looking up again to go. God said, divide the sea. Divide the... What are you doing? There's an axe in the water. What fell inside the water? Is it axe head? What did Elijah do? He threw something else. The thing came up. Do something. It's every time you look up. It's every time you throw your hands up. That kind of surrender, your life is already surrendered to God. Stop doing this thing where you're just like, I just surrender, I just give up. Where were you before? Were you not in surrender? But you have been given a mandate. Secure your world. Possess your possession. What are your rules of engagement? So the rest, you go and learn, how do I engage? But you will do it in calmness, amen? All right, so the next one, you might be asking, Brad, what is something that stood out from you there? sorry, the number 6 of there is resilience. Before I go into the last 3 sections, yes, 3 points left. But resilience is the final result you get from here. So we have number 1, understanding, number 2, peace, number 3, strength, 4, adversity, agility, 5, courage, and number 6, resilience, the ability to bounce back. Put in the chat something that stood out for you from that one. We talked about how we handle setbacks. We talked about how we handle crisis. That's what we talked about there. How are we doing? Have you drank water? Drink again. Woo! So you might be like, okay, Brala there. I got it, I got it, I got it. This is how I'll be facing challenges, facing crisis. I got this part now. I got it, okay. So what about if it's somebody else doing me? It's my mother-in-law. She has so dealt with me. I don't know what I did to this, my sister. She's jealous of me. This person has it in for me. I can't even believe a fellow Christian would treat somebody like this. That is the next part that we're about to read now. Are you all ready for it? If you're ready, let me see you in the chat. Say ready, ready, ready. Ready, ready, ready. Resilience. Yes. External attacks. Because you're like, right, I normally can't, I don't look for trouble. I'm minding my business, the worries and cares of the day. Now somebody else now came. What am I? How am I to handle? Anybody here having a toxic person or somebody who is displaying some toxic tendencies in their vicinity? I didn't even just say in your life, in your vicinity. Put it in your chat. Say me, here. Put it. Okay, if there's nobody, I won't just, I can skip that section because we don't got to talk about external attacks if no one needs it here. External attacks. Oh, they said there's nobody, so I can. Chaka is like, quick. Me. Another person said at work. Yes. Let me share my screen. And you can be referring to your notes. Underline. I promise you, you want to print this out. I have the book, but I also printed out a copy. I printed it in size 16 font because I wanted to be making notes, underlining. Yeah. Okay. When the tongue of malice and slander, the persecution of inferiority tempts you for just a moment to retaliate. That's what he's looking for. Like the reason the thing was done was to pull something out of you that is not present. You know, when inside Hannah was only prayer and Penina was trying to pull something else out. Hannah is like, I'm just praying, it's my womb I'm thinking about, it's my son. I'm not really. But the tongue of malice and slander, the persecution of inferiority, the person who's even telling you, you look at the person up and down, you're like, upon how, as how, why? When it tempts you for just a moment to retaliate, when for an instant you forget yourself so far as to hunger for revenge. In fact, sometimes they will even ask you, what will you do? And you're like, if you know my ability, you will not ask me that question 2 times. You can't do anything because they think that you're a peaceful, calm person. They don't know that you actually have ability. I have ability. When I'm calm, it's not because there are no options, so it's just a choice. What should you do? Let me paint you this picture. So there's a bird called the gray heron that the eagle sometimes likes to hunt. And he said, when the gray heron is pursued by its enemy, the eagle, it does not run to escape. It's not saying, please, I can't go for that meeting because that antagonist will be at the meeting. I can't deal today. Can we not just go to your family house? Your sister is always mean to me. No, it does not run to escape. It remains calm. It remains what? Calm. It takes a dignified stand and waits quietly. Something is wrong with you. Is there a dignified stand? Wait quietly, facing the enemy what? Unmoved. Facing the enemy unmoved. With the terrific force with which the eagle makes its attack, the boasted king of birds is often impaled and run through on the quiet lance-like bill of the heron. This means that man takes to kill another's character becomes suicide of his own. Brethren, let's discuss that part. Some of you have read this part before. Tell me something that stood out for you from this part. How is it that somebody comes to attack you and they are saying that meeting your calm demeanor is like running the eagle through on the beak? You know, when the Bible talks about heaping coals of fire on your head, I don't know. Somebody is insulting me. You say, if I'm just calm and if I maintain peace, that is heaping coals of fire. God, you don't understand. These people, no coal of fire can be heaped on their head. They are evil. No. Said, no man in the world ever attempted to wrong another without being injured in return. Some way, somehow, sometime. Anybody that thinks they are doing you wrong, doing you evil, there is no one in the world that ever attempted to wrong another without being injured. It's you that you don't know sometimes. But it is true. The only weapon of offense that nature seems to recognize is the boomerang. Hey, do you know what a boomerang is? You throw it and the thing flies back at you. You throw it and the curvature, the natural curvature of this instrument or toy or whatever is that it makes a curvature back to you. Nature keeps her book admirably. Just trust that, don't worry. This person has enacted laws. I love laws because you don't have to pray. You do like this, this is what you will face. You don't have to pray about it. You don't have to fight about it. Nature keeps her books. Nature is judging this matter. She puts down every item. And what did they say? They say she closes all accounts finally. But she does not always balance them at the end of the month. So when somebody is misbehaving, you just know that you go see them for front. But it may not even be in your presence. You know, sometimes we are wishing that maybe this thing will immediately show this person and this thing so that we too we can laugh. And we too we can be justified and vindicated. But no. But nature does it eventually. But it's not always at the end of the month. You know, those were the days of bookkeeper where they used to do balance sheet. Not now that you have your direct debit and everything, your statement is per second. No, those days, remember, 19th century, maybe 18th century. That's what they used to do. So it said, to the man who is calm, revenge is so far beneath him that he cannot reach it. You know, sometimes some Christians, they actually spiritualize their revenge. When somebody says, I'm going to the mountain, I've won that my boss. He would die on this seat if he does not give me that promotion. It's revenge. Nothing else is revenge. But revenge is so far beneath the calm person that she cannot reach it, even by stooping. You know, when you stoop to pick up something and your hand cannot reach it. It says revenge is not even under your foot. Revenge. So when some people are trying to kill demons, punish the devil, the lake of fire is already set. So like, you're not even bothered. The punishment is waiting. So even by stooping, that means that revenge is beneath you. Retaliation is beneath you. When injured, he does not retaliate. He wraps around him the royal robes of calmness and goes quietly on his way. This is why I talk about boundaries. Boundaries are you being nature in your life. So you are setting the boundaries so that the violations, the consequences the person meets is without fear or favor. Boundaries are the laws that conduct people's behavior or gives them the consequences they face around you. You are not revenging. I don't normally stand around for people to insult me. So when she started calling me mumu, prostitute, all these things, it was natural that I walked away. I wrap around me my royal robe of calmness. I don't stand there and be like, I can't believe you. Why are you calling me that? You always say that. I'm calm. I can't be perturbed by this. I take action. Goes quietly on his way. Okay, it's time. I want to get 2 or 3 comments on this part about external attacks. Malice and slander, judgments. and your right of revenge. What is your thought about that part? The ego. I think I know you were telling me about that part. Oh my gosh, we're almost done. 2 more points, but somebody share about this part. Okay, they have slept. Have they slept? Chaka.
I'm here. I'm just thinking, I'm putting my thoughts together. So for this one, I think it's very tempting to let your insecurities rise so that your voice, which is also loud and smooth and maybe wiser, and you can one up them, especially people who you perceive in your human mind who try to one up you when they are not actually above you. So my experience is that if I do not want to stoop to grovel in insecurity, I remove energy. So I do not pay attention to relationships intentionally where they have gone sour because they are intentionally about putting me down. That has been I just remove my energy. Just say that we're not quarreling. I love you. I can be there for you if you need me to be there for you, but I delete energy from there. So you just say that I'm not showing up. I'm just not in your breathing space. And it works. I remove the need to grovel in insecurity and get back at you. I don't need to one up you. I'm already above.
You know, if you're already up, why be bothered? What Chiaka just said is so true. See, this thing said he ropes around himself the royal ropes of calmness. So she realized, you know what, I'm actually a queen. No? You see, all these things, they happen in an instant. You're not really sitting down and thinking, okay, how does a queen behave? What will a queen do? No, it has become your subconscious. So she's like, I go quietly on my way. I don't give energy to that environment. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that, Chaka. Was there anyone else? All right. So you might be saying, Brother, then what about grief? All these things you have said. What about grief? This one is the hardest one. No, it's hard because I haven't really faced grief. So sometimes when people are talking about it, I don't try to say I understand. I don't really have the words. I just know that I just go and sit right by that person. But let me tell you one assurance that this thing gives you about grief. Is that when the hand of death touches the one we hold dearest, paralyzes our energy and eclipses the sun of our life. I don't know who you've lost in your life, what impact that had. You know when somebody's like the sun of your life, whether it's a child, a parent, a sibling, he said something. The calmness that has been accumulated in your long years. That means anytime you start is your morning. This thing, you might be hearing it for something that will happen 5 years from now, 10 years from now. But for long years, becomes in a moment our refuge, our reserve strength. Because guess what? We who are alive and remain, we see you. We need you to be a functioning member of society. So it's not that you will not mourn. The Bible says that we don't mourn as those that are without a hope. If you find that something has so debilitated you, the loss of something, again, remember, you retreat, you stop, you take time to rest, you rejuvenate, you replenish. It might even take you a year. It's okay. It's okay. And you reset. Because while we're still here on this earth, there's life to be lived. There's life to be lived. I think of those disciples encouraging those churches. And tomorrow the churches will hear that they have killed the person that established your church. They are decimating them. But the person told you that you should be strong and you should keep going. How do I keep going? There is a strength. I cannot talk you into that strength. I just know that if you stop and rest and assert that calmness and peace, that strength will be a natural result as peace pervades your soul. There's strength for the journey. If you've been through it, if it happened in your life, you have the ability. You have the strength. It's deposited in your spirit. God will be unjust if he doesn't give you the strength to face what you're going through. He would be. That is my encouragement. If you've lost anyone, you do have strength for the journey. Strength does not mean you are jumping about, laughing, smiling. No, at your own pace. And this is part of calmness, making peace with your pace. Okay? And then the next one has to do really with politics and the world. I was like, America and Nigeria and the UK. You know, it's like the most subtle of all temptations is the seeming success of the wicked. When you hear of wars and rumors of wars, you're just like, why are we here? God, can you just end this world? It requires moral courage to see without flinching material prosperity coming to men who are dishonest. If you have seen this before, put it in the chat. Yeah, just like, how can this person still win this seat after everything? This person who is cheating, who is like, God, is this fair? We are worshiping you, we are paying tithe, we are doing all these things. Look at us. To see politicians rise in prominence, power, and wealth by trickery and corruption. You know, some of the things that introduce disquiet in people's spirits is not even personal attack to their lives. It's not from a crisis that happens to them. It is watching the news, looking at society being bothered. To see virtue in rags and vice in velvets. People are saying, look, let me tell you, now MAGA they pay now. MAGA is what is paying, vice in velvets. The Yahoo boys, they are wearing velvet. And the missionaries don't have money to run their school. To see virtue in rags and vice in velvets. Some people have literally given up. They are just like, there's no peace in this world, there's no justice, lost their faith because of this. To see ignorance at a premium and knowledge at a discount. You're giving somebody counsel, they're like, no, it doesn't, I don't even want to hear. Knowledge at a discount. And then ignorance, how to BBL. Nothing is wrong with BBL, by the way, if that's your desire in life. But how can that be at a premium? Their knowledge is at a discount. Coach Tomba is saying, come and find out who you are, identity, master yourself, is at a discount. Then the ignorance of BBL is at a premium. How? So the man who is really calm, these puzzles of life do not appeal. You don't sit around wondering these things. This is why be careful that your mind is not bogged down by the troubles of this world, because in this world you will have trouble. Remember, he is living his life. She's living her life as best as she can. She's not worrying about the problems of justice. Living your life as best as you can. What can we do? What can my church do? What can my organization do? How can we make this world a better place? And then you put all your mind, your energy, your efforts to doing that. And the rest of it, you leave it for omniscience to solve. Kuku said, I'm not seeing everything. Let the God who's seen everything, let him be judging that part. But the part he has given me to handle, I'm going to handle it. Temitope is here. She's like, I'm going to help young mothers to refresh their soul. Somebody said, I'm going to coach people to this. Celestine, Sally is here. Sally is like, I'm going to create a leadership academy for African leaders to do this. And Sisong is here. She's like, I'm going to find medicine from herbs that are naturally occurring to us so that people can be hale and hearty without ingesting pharmaceutical, side effects or impure things. You do your own bit. This thing, all this vice, trickery, do you hear what's happening in California now? This world, hey, I heard that somebody married a dog. How can a woman marry her dog? What is happening in this world? And you think heaven right now cannot sleep because a woman married her. No. Every problem is not ours to solve. The puzzles of this life do not happen. What was really going on in our mind? I just want to understand. And you think and you think and you think till you can no longer function in this world and become the solution provider. We're not bogged down by the issues of this world. If you are in a WhatsApp group where every day they are sending you the latest accident pictures, bloody things, and how they stole this thing, and how they did this, exit from that group. That's not what you need on your consciousness on a daily. We leave those things for omniscience to solve. He thought and thought and said, what name do I call God here? He said, the one that sees everything. God that knows the heart, he will judge. Okay? All right. When man has developed the spirit of calmness until it becomes so absolutely part of him, his very presence radiates it. This is how I want to send you out into the world. Tomorrow, when you show up in your place of work, when you listen to this replay and listen again and again and again, bring out your book, write down the insights. His very presence radiates it. He has made great progress in life. If when you become it too much is radiating, you have made great progress in life. I'm that friend, I'm like, call me with any problem you have. The only thing I'll minister to you is calmness and peace. I might not give you the exact solution. I'm sorry. I might not give you the billions you need to fix it. But I'll give you peace and calm because it's what I carry. And it's what you carry. Say, I carry peace. I radiate calmness. I carry peace. I radiate calmness. I radiate calmness. I radiate calmness. Calmness cannot be acquired of itself and by itself. It must come as a combination of a series of virtues. Again, remember, because if you just look at calmness on itself, you know you need patience. You know you need purpose. You know you need intentionality, you know you need all these things. And when I say you know you need, you already have, you understand, like you, but it is the confluence of all these things and how you manage these things. So we will be learning over the course of the next 6 chapters in subsequent classes what these other virtues are. So what the world needs and what individuals need is a higher standard of living. If all of us will have aspirations, live aspirationally, that is, we're not just living for now and for the versions of ourselves we currently are. We're aspiring, and every day we're taking it higher, a notch up. A great realizing sense of the privilege and dignity of life. Do you know that we're blessed? Do you know that you're blessed to be able to speak? You're blessed to be able to complain. You're blessed to be able to think. There's dignity in this life. There's a privilege. Life carries with it a privilege to give back. A higher and nobler conception of individuality. This thing where we all hide behind, we are. What about you? I always used to think about that. I'm like, this marriage that we carry on our head, and they say on Judgment Day, all of us will be walking one by one. God, are you not taking this individuality thing so far? Even children. But some of the children is the way the parents raised them that they were turning out. But he said, no, everybody will walk on their own. If you've reached the age of accountability, I deal with you as an institution. That's how God meets us. He meets us almost as a God. And that is why there's one thing God said, I'm not going to override. That is your will. This is life and death. Choose life that you may live, but it is all your prerogative which one you want to choose. Of course, the consequence you can't choose, but you see that choice, it belongs to you. That's a higher and nobler conception of individuality. A higher and nobler. Did you think you were just anybody? Did you think you were just a speck of dust? No. I remember watching DDK's interview. DDK is one of my coaches and my mentors as well. She said, I decided in this life I wasn't going to be a spectator in my life. I was going to become a co-creator with God. The temerity of that statement, co-creator with God. You don't say, I surrender myself to the life God has chosen to live through me. Do what, this life I'm living is not me. Oh. God, just do what you want through me. Do what you want with me. Tell me where to go, I will go. Look, okay. I'm not saying yieldedness is not important, but this thing where you think you're just a puppet, you know that thing where I put pencils in the hand of the Lord. No. God wants your laugh. He wants your humor, the way you dress. He wants to mix that with his divinity and present to the world another facet of himself. Each one of us is a representation, like no one that ever existed before, of divinity. He wants you to show up as a co-creator with him. All right. With this sense of calmness permeating an individual, man becomes able to retire more into himself. You see, this is the retreat. You become able. I remember when I used to be in university, when I used to be so afraid to be by myself. That's why I told you that I said I was not going to fear again when I got born again. Because before, I used to be so fearful. Even to sleep on a bed by myself. I wanted somebody to sleep near me. Let me just know that somebody else is here. Well up into my teenage. And you say, stay by yourself in a retreat? Where? One time I went to stay in one place. It was just animals that were around me. It's just the wall of the building. It was even a wooden wall. And somebody told me, say, brother, that place you were, I don't want to hear you went to that kind of place. If sometimes you will know, I said, the truth is, people may not know for 2 days. Because I was alone with the Lord and with myself. Are you able to retire? But apart from going away somewhere else, even with yourself, just with yourself in your house. Away from what? The noise. This world is noisy. This earth is noisy. So many things calling for your attention, and it's not going to stop. The confusion, the strife, the one you invited, oh, the one you did not invite, oh, everything is coming at you, coming at you, coming at you. He said, which come to his ears only as a faint far off rumblings, or as the tumult of life of the city heard only as a buzzing hum by a man in a balloon. If you've ever been in a hot air balloon, everything looks so tiny and small. If they say, oh, look, somebody's carrying a gun, you will not duck because the bullet cannot reach you where you are. Have you ever been in a soundproof building? You can see outside. You can't hear anything. If you hear, it's so faint. That's the kind of entity that this book is asking you to be. That's what calmness does to you. It insulates you from the world. And it's strife, it's confusion, it's noise. It insulates you. So as we end today, because this is actually where we'll be, this last paragraph actually summarizes the last chapter that we'll be doing. The man who is calm, the woman who is calm, does not selfishly isolate herself from the world, for she is intensely interested in all that concerns the welfare of humanity. So this is not somebody that like, everybody just day your own. Day your day, I day my day. Don't bother me. This world, I don't even want, some people even say, I'm not even voting in the election. Anything that wants to happen, let it happen. No, we are intensely interested in all that concerns the welfare of humanity. But your calmness is but a holy of holies into which you can retire from the world to get strength to live in the world. This is what Jesus would do all the time. I am not of this world, but I am in this world. So I go get strength to live in this world, but I am not of this world. So I get the strength and I superimpose my values, my character, and my desires, my visions on this world. I am not influenced by the world. I am the influencer. She realizes that the full glory of individuality, the crowning of her self-control is what? Is the majesty of calmness. And I will end with the story of Viktor Frankl, the man who, how many of you have heard of Viktor Frankl before? Put it in the chat. Viktor Frankl. He was a Jew who was living in Germany and was taken to the concentration camps. In fact, his family, his wife, they were all killed in those gas chambers. And the guards would ask him, why do you keep singing? He wrote his book there. They burnt the first copy. He wrote another one. They would beat him. They would everything. You see, he's the one who wrote this, is it The Purpose of Meaning or something like that? If you remember it, put it in the chat. Viktor Frankl. And he's the one who said, between something that happens, between stimuli and response, there's a gap. That is where I get to choose what my response will be. By the time he was living there, in fact, what sustained him there was purpose and meaning. How he conducted himself there was as somebody who understood that there was a crowning of his self-control. There was a glory of his individuality, and he brought it to bear upon that environment. I said somebody put it in the chat. Somebody just search Viktor Frankl, the name of the book, put it in the chat so that I can say it before we wrap up. And I want you to start putting your hands up because I want to get feedback from you as we go on. But Viktor Frankl decided, Man's Search for Meaning, that's the name of the book, Man's Search for Meaning. And to think that the person who gave us such a gift was not waking up and the housekeeper was giving him coffee and the driver was chauffeuring him to the office. This is somebody who was sleeping on the hard floor, cold, beaten, flogged. People killed all about you, punished by the vilest of people. That was somebody who could still see the dignity in individuality. That's the kind of person I want to be. A person that has the mettle to face things happening in my life. A person who has what? Remember the three things? Number one, that person has singleness of purpose. They mastered their purpose. absolute confidence. Viktor Frankl said, this book, the whole world will read it. I don't know why I had that confidence that he will get through it. But a man with purpose will outlive 1,000 times over. And not just in years, but in that I will accomplish this purpose, they will outlive other people. And finally, conscious power. I want you to walk as a person who's an institution tomorrow, as an ambassador of the kingdom. All right. Thank you all for spending this evening with me. And this is how it'll be. It'll be a deep dive. As you are this week, every day, I want you to dive into the book, study. How do you study? You take notes. You write insights. You drop voice notes for yourself. You share with somebody. Open a WhatsApp group. I think I'll open a WhatsApp group. If you do want a WhatsApp group, put it in the chat. I'll open one because I got your numbers, and be in there. This is all we'll talk about. Rest, retreat, rejuvenate, reset. All right, I'd like to hear from 3 people before we go. Look at y'all on the chat. Give yourselves a big hand. I'm so proud of you. Too much, too much. All right. What is one thing you're taking from here today? What is one thing that struck you? What kind of person are you coming out as on the other end? Can somebody put up your hand and share with us?
Hi, Brother. This is Blessing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So, you know, when you started, you said your heart always knows what it needs. And there's always a signal that you should rest, you should be at peace. There's always that signal somewhere. And you know, when you were talking about Elijah and when he felt that overwhelm and tiredness, the typical first response is actually to rest. But I don't know how we got here, where we kind of missed the signal inside of us and chase after something external, you know, as a way to respond. And this is just a reminder for me to just pull into that place, you know, like what you described. Foxes have their hole, that's that private, personal place, and to glean peace from there, glean rest from there. And there was something else again that you said that struck me. So when things agitate you easily, you know, it's usually easy for you to be able to put your guards up for things that are people that are outside of your inner space. But when you kind of open up your heart, open up yourself, it gets a bit harder.
Preach, sister.
You know, it gets a bit harder to say, okay, how much can I open up and still be calm when there's a storm here? And just that place of knowing that this is God's place, and even in the midst of this, that part of you that is kept safe by God is that deep-rooted part of you, that part that is 400 meters beneath the sea, is what keeps you going. And so thank you so much. I love you from the depths of my heart. Thank you for sharing, darling.
Thank you so much, Blessing. Your voice is always so soothing. Thank you for sharing those insights. And I think that the reason why we're mastering calmness is that every other thing that we learn from here will be layered upon this fundamental state of your soul. Because you will learn boundaries. What she said is true. But in fact, you will leave this call. The Bible said that after Jesus will pray and go and study, when he comes out, the devil will be waiting to tempt him. They will tempt you tomorrow. Life will tempt you. External attacks will come. Society too will bring its own. Everything will come at you. We're going to learn how to handle that, maybe in another class where we learn about boundaries. But let it meet calmness first. And from there, you can then build, okay? All right. I want to hear from someone else. Thank you so much, Blessing, for sharing and giving yourself permission to rest. Really, really rest. Okay. Is Sally there? Sally, Joy, Timmy Tokwe. I want to hear from you. Sandra, Onyi. And Sisan. Where's my mom? Just unmute yourself. Don't wait for me to unmute you. Okay. Anu is saying this is a whole lot to unbundle. I'm giving myself the permission to rest. Remember that calm people live how? Consciously, intensely, fully. That means they answer questions and they engage. They say they don't isolate themselves. So I'm waiting for the next person to speak. Joy Keegan. Joy Taiwo. Speak to me.
Hi. Hi, everybody. Hi, sis.
Hey, beautiful.
Yeah, I've just learned a lot. Like I've seen the intentionality of where you put your energy to, you know? Don't allow stress to take over your life. You have what it takes to control your environment and how you react. That gap that you mentioned for Mr. Frankel, that's just mind-blowing, considering he was in a concentration camp. So if he could do that, what about us in Christ? You know? So I'm still unpacking a lot, and I just wanted to say thank you for sharing this message. Love you, sis.
Love you, Joy. Oh my gosh, I'm surrounded by so much love. How can people now stress me when I can just take a blessing, Joy? I know I'm just like, oh, Chaka loves me. Do you understand? Like when you fill yourself so much with these good things, even if you stoop, you can't find revenge because it simply isn't there. Yeah. Thank you, Joy, for sharing that. And it is so good sometimes to study other people that mastered this piece and ask yourself, you haven't gone through half of what they've been through yet. They still, that thing that they have, I want it. I want to learn it. I want to master it. All right, Mo, please go right ahead, unmute yourself and speak.
Thank you so much, Lady Valade. And I think for me, what I really what I hear you say is that you just keep it re-echoing and reaffirming and re-emphasizing how powerful an individual is. And I just kept hearing that you most likely will not have control over how people behave, what people say, what people think. But the control I have is how I respond to these things. And it just shows me the more how powerful, how much power I have, because control is power. And so my ability to utilize the strength that I have is is a great deal, is my cutting edge. And so I really don't have to respond to everything or respond to the noise or react all the time based on the triggers, because I have the power to choose the outcome that I want or to choose how I'm going to respond to things. And so thank you so much for taking the time to re-emphasize these things to us. God bless you.
Oh my word, that is so good. That is so good. Thank you for really honing how we have control. Anytime you hear that people are trying to hack any system, what do they want? All they want is control. Anybody who hacks a system is not looking to go there and steal something and go out. No, they're looking to take control. So how do you cede? How do you yield control of yourself over to a circumstance instead of you mastering control of your own self? You see? So that's why I feel like what more you just said is so important. Control. Whoever has control can dictate action. And you wanna master action from your values, from your beliefs, from your purpose, not from reactiveness to adverse circumstances. All right, Anu, go ahead and unmute yourself. And I need one more hand from somebody we haven't heard from today to speak to.
Hello, Coach B. Thank you so much for pouring into us and being intentional and not rushing through it, because I mean you could have just done all of this in 30 minutes or an hour. But thank you for taking your time to explain, to give examples, to just take us through the journey, because it's really worth it. And three things actually struck out to me. The first thing is that I'm just going to tie it down to what I'm reading from Science of Getting Rich, and is that you need to think the truth about a situation, not the appearance of it. And what that means is that when these external issues come to you, or external people that try to take your peace come to you, you need to know the truth about the situation. And the truth is that you have peace within. The truth is that you are majestic. The truth is that you are a queen. So then you act accordingly. And I think like that's exactly what made Jesus be calm in the face of the storm when everybody was fretting. He knew the truth about the situation, that the storm is not the truth. Who he is, the consciousness of the fact that he can speak a word and that storm can just go away, was how Jesus was able to conquer everything that he did. So knowing the truth about the situation, irrespective, regardless of what their parents looks like, is what really make us win. And the second thing that I'm giving myself the permission, because one of the things that I know about this Majesty of Calmness is that it takes you unlearning the things you are used to already. I'm used to whenever it's time for retreat, it's always more and more and more, so that the year will be powerful. And those things are great. But you need to know what you need in each season of your life. And I know if I want to be true to myself, this season of my life, I need rest. I need to prioritize rest. So my retreat should be rest. You should be like Elijah, just sitting with the Lord and let him be saying, be eating. Relax, my darling. I will take care of the year. Because I realize that the reason why I want to be so into like, let's do some spiritual warfare, let's analyze it, is because I want to take control of what my year will look like. That's great. But in the midst of it, you must not give too much of yourself out or over pour out yourself. You must know that it's in the consciousness of who he is and whose you are that makes you come out in power. Not anything that has to do with yourself. It's the person that you carry on your inside. And then the third thing that I know and I'm learning from this journey, for what you taught us, is that resilience is so powerful. Like you already have the strength. And just made when you're talking about giving birth to a baby and everything, and how the men will faint. I just remember when during my pregnancy and when it was time to give birth, and then it was painful. It was obviously painful, but I just wanted to see my baby. And I'm like, I can do this thing. I got this. And when I gave birth, it was so beautiful. Even when I was healing, I knew that I was doing it in joy because I was seeing the fruits of that which I was doing. So it's very important that we work in the consciousness that you're not doing this thing for doing sake. And the fruit might not be like you literally having a baby, a physical baby that you can hold. The truth can just be that in your inside, you are healing. You are not bleeding and walking, because that's not the way to live life. You are just pouring out, bleeding, and just bleeding on everybody around you. You are healing on the inside. And I just want to say thank you so much, because I'm saying a lot right now. Thank you so much.
You know where passion has taken a hold of you, and you're just like, but why should we just be moving around unhealed, on this, on that, more? And you see, remember, if you forget anything, you see this, I have to, I need to. I'm not having anything that speaks to your lack of enoughness, anything that speaks to you're not having enough. That really is fear. And you can't have calm. Calm and fear cannot reside in the same place. It says that perfect love casts out fear. Knowing that you are loved, knowing that you are resourced, it will bring calm. It will produce calm in you. Isn't all the women in the world that have born before? What am I facing in this labor world that I cannot face? Okay, I'm shouting, but my baby is going to come out. And I will even do it again, because we plan to have 4 children, 2 boys and 2 girls. So we'll still do it again. Not Miss Mio, I'm talking about Anita. All right, one more before we go for today. Where's my Sally? And where's Timmy? Adorma, Chioma. Where's my Christy? Come on, let's have one more before we go. Just unmute and speak, okay? Oyin Ogundimu, good to see you here. Vivian, coming too. And Mo is saying, this is so good. Only if we know that retreat isn't all prayer and warfare. And what is warfare? Warfare really is just maintaining territory. We make it sound like this thing where everybody has brought out their sword and there are some people, there's smoke, there's black fire. No, it's maintaining territory. Your peace is a territory. Say peace garrisons your heart and mind. That means for somebody to effectively war you, they have to destroy your peace first. That's warfare. So you don't you don't yield ground. That's warfare. So, all right. Somebody unmuted before. Sally.
Hi. Okay, so good evening, everyone. In Ghana, it's evening. It's been a very insightful session for me. I'm already feeling relieved. I think this came in at the right time. I don't suddenly feel pressured again. I'm feeling enough. And I just wanted to let you know that all of the things I was talking to you about on WhatsApp privately, I'm going to rest for now. So I will be sending you updates like next year, ma. In the meantime, I will be waiting for the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. And it's good to meet every one of my sisters here.
Sorry, I think I was muted. Yeah, sorry. It doesn't matter how much somebody works. When it's midnight, you will say, go and sleep. In fact, let somebody stay up for 48 hours. You don't say, oh, just keep going. Even in battlefront, you will see one set of soldiers will go back and go and sleep. The others will continue the fights because you cannot do this without rest. So what God has automated in physiology and biology, how do we not have it automated in our own personal lives, in our own routines? So even as she's saying this, I'm like, no, sis, go for it. You can do it. You can do it. Okay, she does it there. We now deplete her completely. The angel now have to feed her bread, give her water, ask her to sleep. Is that what we want? No. Will Africa change? Yes. Must it change this December? Maybe not. January is still there. And Sally is coming back. She's like, lo, I will be back still. I love it. Thank you. Thank you, Sally, for that. A final one before we go. Again, watch out for the replay. It will be there. Don't worry about it. One more before we go. Is this Lara in our midst? Lara, good to see you. Where's my Temitope? It said she's putting a baby to bed. Do I see a hand? Okay, no, that's still Anu's hand. So you can go ahead and unmute. If not, feel free to tag us, write something that stood out to you, hashtag the Majesty of Calmness, and tag me in your stories, tag me in your post. I would love to see it. It's a message I have a burden about that I want to give to the world, that I think that God will have us really pay attention to, especially this time of the year, so that we don't start next year broken, unhealed, and motivated by the same things that will break us instead of make us. I love you, my sisters. Remember to take the time to retreat, to rest, and to rejuvenate, to reset, okay? Tomorrow, watch out for your videos. It'll be dropping in your inbox and the worksheets. This one I was introducing to you. We're about to go into the how, because I said a lot and you're like, brother, how shall these things be? This person you describe, I don't know the person. I've never been the person. How do we become the person? I will tell you exactly how, okay? See you in class, in your inbox. See you in your inbox and see you in the WhatsApp group. When you get the WhatsApp group invitation, join it. It'll be strictly about this. It won't be a place for forwarding things. Now, it will even be your foxhole. When you come back, you hear literal nature sounds playing in the group, and you just being okay and calm with yourself. Yes, you see it. All right, thank you. I see you, Chiaka. All right, I'm waiting for you on Instagram, on Facebook. Tag me, how was today? Tag me, let us share it so that the rest of the world can see it and participate in this. If you haven't invited your friends, send them the replay when it comes through, and also let everybody know. Send them the link to register, okay? All right, talk to you later. See you next Sunday and see you in your inbox tomorrow. If you have any questions, feel free to DM me and send an email back. The team will be ready to hear from you. Ta-da!